What's up, guys? Luca here with another episode of the show, and today we are talking the Game of the Year nominations for 2024. This is actually one of my favorite times of the year because I feel like the Game of the Year nominations, like honestly speaking, even though the Game of the Year show, like I feel like it's consistently a good show, even though Jeff Keighley irritates me. Last year being the one where I was just kind of like, okay, because I felt like it was really disrespectful to the developers. But overall, I feel like Jeff Keighley puts on a good show. Hopefully, his show this year is better, and he's not so focused on the advertisers and getting like old school rock bands people have not thought about in quite some time to come and perform. So, but I think it's always a very fun conversation leading up to the event, and I do enjoy watching. And he does tend to get a lot of game trailers for upcoming games, so it's something to look forward to, even if I'm not particularly fond of the host. But regardless of that, I have Infinite Umbra here as a guest.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
I couldn't help myself. I had to do it. Yes, thank you. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure. It's been a while since we've had a conversation in general. I talk with Slow-Mo and he slanders Unreal every day. So, I unfortunately deal with that every day with him. But yeah, it's been a while since I had the chance, the pleasure to speak with you, Luca. You're one of my favorite people in the space, whether you believe that or not. I don't know if I've ever told you that.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I enjoy our conversations as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And Death Singer, I think this is my first time ever really having a conversation with you. So,
yeah. I mean, I've seen you on Twitter.
Yes.
Yes.
I am infamous. No, I'm joking. But yeah, pleasure to be here with you guys.
Alrighty, and then Singer.
What up? It is me. And you know how it goes. Good previews came out for Avowed, which I'm incredibly excited for. So overall, happy.
All right, and then Slow-Mo.
Yo, what up, Slow-Mo Backslap? I am here to talk about video game slander, trash game engines, and have a good time.
I mean, honestly, Slow-Mo, because your name is Slow Mo. Did you name yourself because you're slow? Like, Yeah. What's up, man?
I mean, yeah, morons out here.
It's always the same narrative. Like, obviously, I don't even know why people use it as like a gotcha. It's like clearly that's something you would have considered before you chose the nickname, but whatever. What's up, A Silent Saiyan? What's up, Deli? What's up, Iman? Oh, Deli says Avowed looks so good. Avowed does look very good. I agree. But yeah, let's go ahead and start talking about these Game Award nominations.
Like
Let's start.
Di is yelling at me because he's typing in all caps.
Yeah, let's start at the bottom and then
Yeah,
work
you want to start the bum? Yeah, I was gonna say. Bum. Where's the bum?
The bottom's probably gonna have some esports stuff in there, so you might want to just like.
I got the esports one real quick. Right. So the best esports team is the current 3 times back-to-back world champions T1 for League of Legends. There we go. Easy.
Oh, okay.
Best esports athlete is the best player to ever play League of Legends, Faker. He wins every single year. Best to ever do it. And then the best esports game is obviously League of Legends. Right, easy. Cool.
Okay.
Content creator of the year. I have no idea who any of these are.
I don't know who these people. I'm so old, man. I don't know who these people are.
The past 2 years, they have put people up there that I have never heard of. And I don't know, how are they content creator of the year? We all are fully engaged in the gaming space and the gaming conversation, and we never heard these people.
Maybe they're Twitch streamers. I think I know who Queso is or whoever, but
I do have to shout out to Di in the chat. ZOFGK. See, Di knows. Di very much knows the GOATs. Yes, sir. Faker over LeBron. You already know what it is. Let's go. Anyway, yeah.
Alrighty. Okay, so then we're gonna just scroll up because I don't know who these people are. Okay, so most anticipated game. So, boy, yes, for the most anticipated game, we have Death Stranding 2 on the beach, Kojima Productions, SIE, Ghost of Yote, Sucker Punch Productions, SIE, Grand Theft Auto 6, Rockstar Games, Metroid Prime 4, Beyond, and then Monster Hunter Wilds. Now, this is a very strong Very strong lead up with 2 sneaks, but I'm gonna give it to Grand Theft Auto 6, obviously, 'cause it's Grand
Obviously.
Theft Auto 6.
Clearly.
So, I mean, what do you guys think?
I think
Clearly.
if you added up all the views for all the trailers for all the other games and you add them all together, they wouldn't equal half of the amount of views that GTA 6 trailer had. So I would say Grand Theft Auto 6 is clearly the most anticipated game, and this is the biggest no-brainer in the entire show.
I agree.
It almost feels like it shouldn't be there because it's so unfair to everything else. Also, no, who was anticipating Death Stranding 2? I feel
Certainly
like
not I.
I feel like it could have been a few other games there, like I don't know, Gears or Fable, something. Death Stranding? Nah.
I mean, Death Stranding is, I don't know. I mean, he's cool with Kojima, so
Yeah,
Kojima's
that's
makes
it.
sense.
That's it.
Right,
Yep.
that's all
Kojima
that is.
clearly. Yep.
Man's got a Kojima tramp stamp. He loves
Right,
some Kojima. Go ahead.
I think that if Grand Theft Auto wasn't there, maybe Metroid would get this category.
No, I would say Monster Hunter Wilds over
Yeah,
Metroid
that
Prime
makes
4
sense.
because Monster Hunter
Probably,
is
yeah.
highly anticipated.
Yeah, probably.
All right.
On to the next one.
Yes, sir.
Best
Okay.
multiplayer.
Best multiplayer. Call of Duty, Black Ops 6, Treyarch, Raven, Activision, Xbox, Helldivers 2, Aero Game Studios, SIE, Super Mario Party, Jamboree, Nintendo Cube, Nintendo, Tekken 8, Bandai Namco, Warhammer 40,000, Space Marines 2, Saber Interactive / Focus.
I mean, it's between Helldivers 2 and Black Ops 6.
I'm gonna agree with that. It's between those two. Helldivers 2 definitely early this year was definitely the best multiplayer game out. It had people caring about taking over planets and how the war effort was going, and people who I rarely ever see play multiplayer games were playing that and playing together, all the hijinks, the friendly fire. It's a lot of fun. And of course, Black Ops 6 is Call of Duty, is what it is. You know what to expect. I would vote for Helldivers 2. And
personally, I mean, I'd give it to Helldivers 2 because they're nominated for a lot of things, but I don't think they'll win in a lot of categories they're in. So I'd probably give them this. To be honest,
I'm a bit torn. I don't really care for Call of Duty's multiplayer. I actually hate it. Between the Twitch style shooting and you being killed almost immediately, at least me, because I suck at it. And a random racist saying something to me, it's just a terrible mix. But as far as actually reception and everything like that, I mean, we couldn't lie and ignore how successful this game has been and how much fans have been loving it. Like, this is one of the most well-received Call of Duties I've ever seen. I think any of us have ever seen, not just by sales, but in general. Fans are really appreciating the maps and everything else, everything from what I've seen. And usually Call of Duty fans complain a lot. But Helldivers 2, I was so stuck on that game earlier this year. It's ridiculous now. And I actually really did love how they approached it, the love they showed to other games like Halo and things like that. You could see the clear influence inside of what they were doing. Had us, talking as if we wanted one of the soldier grunts and such. It was like you were really into it. So I think you guys are right with those two being the top. But I would say Call of Duty more so than anything else, just because of how well received it is with so many more eyes on it.
Yeah, I completely agree.
I agree. I think it'll be COD.
I think it will too, because not only did they do a good multiplayer experience, that campaign slaps. This Call of Duty campaign is really, really good.
Yeah, campaign is great too.
They nailed the campaign, they nailed the zombies, and they nailed the multiplayer. Obviously, I have issues with it, but I mean, it's fun, so.
I enjoy the multiplayer. I play that more than anything else. I intend on playing the campaign eventually, but yeah, I'm just whenever I boot that up, it's because I'm playing multiplayer. I'm going to shoot somebody in the face. So it's good. Its movement has improved even further with Omni movement. It's fantastic.
Yep.
All right. Sweet. Go ahead.
Let's go to sports racing.
I got an issue with this.
Okay.
So do I. There's no
Why-
college football.
Yeah, why college football, which is probably EA's most sold game this year, and if I recall correctly, it is the most sold game of the year right now, or close to the top. I have to double check it. But why is that game not here? Like, it came back for the first time ever, and it's like in like a decade, and it's not in the sports game of the year. It's just weird that it's not here, but I don't know, man. I think some of these people out here, my bad, it's not in the top, but it is it's in the top 10. So it's in top 10 sold games of the year, and it's not in the sports category. It makes no sense.
No, I have to agree. Go ahead, Death Singer.
I was gonna say, like, then again, you have to think worldwide, and college football is big in America, but outside of that, it's not like FIFA has a more worldwide appeal. So it makes sense FC 25 will be there. NBA, people like basketball. The thing is, I would drop top spin because I don't.
Yeah, I'm about to say, like,
who cares about tennis?
Cares about tennis. I mean, sorry for people who like tennis, but even no one cares about your sport. Like, if you can watch a full-on tennis match and not fall asleep, like, you deserve an award. It's boring, yo, and playing it, yeah, okay. There's just no way that Top Spin 2K25, which I'm fairly certain, I'm not even going to look, ain't chart on a damn thing, should be higher than EA college football. It's just
that's the weirdest one to me. Is really that somebody tried to not argue, but they said maybe it's because of these other ones are like more, they're less. They're more global, whereas college, I guess, football would be more regional here. And I'm like, I guess, but is that what you really should be focusing on? I mean, I guess they said that there are a lot of like Asians that are in on this as far as voting from overseas too. And I guess that probably makes some sense seeing some of the games we saw that made game of the year, one in particular. But this right here, when you look at the review scores and everything, just even looking at the meta, the highest score for this tennis game is 76 for what happened?
I'm sorry. I shouldn't be laughing at 76. That is a very decent score.
Oh, you were laughing at the score? I didn't know what happened.
I wasn't expecting 76.
That's a good score, Slow-Mo.
It is.
I mean, if my kids brought home a 76, I'm not happy. But
the good thing it's not anything to do with your children.
I mean, but to be fair, 76 is a good game, right? So it's not like it's bad, but
yes,
the college sports. EA's NCAA, it scored 83, I think. So clearly, that's a great game, and it just feels like it feels like a snub when you really look at the whole picture of this. To me, I would say that seems to be the one that should have been there, if anything.
Yeah, I mean, if they think about it and they're nominating like F1, I guess it's the only good racing game released this year, so you've got to put that in there. Plus, F1 is a global sport. The only thing I see from this is global sports, like more so than like an NCAA, even though I would drop the tennis game with the quickness and put NCAA in there because it's undeniably a huge success.
But is that fair? That because a game is more regional, that it doesn't get a fair shake with this category? I mean, just like, people play tennis worldwide more than, no one but us plays American football. But just because you don't like American football doesn't mean that the game wasn't good enough to be in this category.
I agree.
It just smacks of bias to me.
Agreed. It's the same thing like the game of the year discussion where people, and we'll get to that, so I'll save it, but it's the same kind of mindset for me where it's like, why should that be excluded, right? So I'll say it when we get to it.
All right. On to best A. This is my category
Very
right here.
American thought process you guys have. All right.
All
Best
right.
sim / strategy.
America. Okay, go ahead.
Age of Mythology, Retold, World's Edge / Forgotten Empire / Xbox Game Studios, Frostpunk 2, 11-Bit Studios, Kunitsugami, Path of the Goddess, Capcom, Manor Lords, Slavic Magic / Hooded Horse, Unicorn Overlord, Vanillaware, Sega, Atlas.
No,
All right.
this
Any of these are.
is my category.
All right, let's hear it, my boy.
I played all of these games, right? So, I'll start with Manor Lords. Manor Lords is a great settlement / building survival game, and is really, really good. There's not a lot of content right now because they're a small team, so they're gonna push out more content over time. But for what it is a really good game. Frostpunk 2, if you played the first one, it is in Game Pass, so do give it a try. It's very much the same. It's a survival, base building type of game, and you have to decide, it's like, oh, we're running we're running low on food. Pick people to sacrifice, so we have enough food to go around. Because you're essentially a city stuck in the middle of nowhere. It's completely frozen, and you have to figure out how to manage your food, manage your fuel. How do you keep the heating on? Do you keep your lights on? Do you turn the lights off at night because you need to save fuel? It's really, really good. And then Age of Mythology is my pick for this because it is a game that came out, 25 years ago? Before Age of Empires, I think. And they remade the game and it is fantastic. Absolutely spectacular.
Oh, so it's a remake.
Yeah, essentially.
Okay.
That's why it's retold.
I see. Okay.
What? That's what to say about remakes on.
I'm voting for Unicorn Overlord. That game's fantastic. I think Vanillaware is awesome. I liked 13 Sentinels, and this one is a bit different than that, but it is pretty good. I like the story. I like the characters. I've played that one. I played Path of the Goddess, and I've played Frostpunk 2. And yeah, I just enjoy Unicorn Overlord more than those other ones. I just kind of wish that Vanillaware would stop trying to make they need to start putting their games on PC. I'm just like I like your work. I would like to play, your games on the PC instead of a console someday. So yeah.
Well, I mean, technically you can play it on PC.
Looking at the scores
through
for them,
cloud,
they're all
on a handheld or through browser. I don't want to play it like that. I want to play native.
I was going to say, looking at the scores for them, like everyone except Manor Lords are like in the 80s. Like, so this is a tough one, I would think. But I have heard a lot of praise about both Unicorn Overlord and Age of Mythology Retold. So yeah, I don't have any pick for these because I haven't played any of them. Not my style of game.
Yeah, I mean, I could see Unicorn Overlord winning it because a lot of people love the game. Bear in mind, Age of Mythology is mainly for the PC market, right? Frostpunk 2, same thing. Manor Overlord, same thing. Unicorn Overlord was console only. So it's like, I guess it'd probably get the nomination because the reviewers and the people who do the voting, they more than likely played that game rather than playing something like an Age of Mythology. So I could see him just voting for it.
I'm team Unicorn Overlord over here, okay?
I'm team Age of Mythology.
Okay. All right. Well, my team is going to win, okay?
Which one is America?
Oh, well, that would be... I don't even think that's either one of them because I think World's Edge is... I don't know where Forgotten Empires is. I think World's Edge is a European studio. And they're more of like a publisher that just kind of like manages the IP versus actually makes the content themselves. So And clearly, Vanillaware, Sega, Atlas, that's Japanese.
No,
I don't
Slomo.
think there is no America here. So
No, there is World's Edge. It's America, and it's the new studio they made. Remember they announced World's
but
Edge?
where's that
They made
studio based?
America in Washington.
Oh, the state of Washington.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the state of Washington sucks, so I'm still going with Unicorn Overlord.
We'll have Code Eastwood on your ass now.
He ain't gonna do nothing.
You're gonna be like, all right, be nice before we start laying into you.
He's gonna make a really mean Photoshop of me.
Best family game, I guess.
All right, best family game: Astrobot, Team Asobi, SIE, Princess Peach, Showtime, Good Feel, Nintendo, Super Mario Party Jamboree, Nintendo Cube, Nintendo, The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom, Grezzo, Nintendo, The Plucky Squire, All Possible Future / Devolver.
The only one I've played is Astrobot. So that's what I'm going to vote for. That said, I heard a lot of good things about the Plucky Squire. If that wins, I wouldn't be opposed to that. I'm tired of Nintendo winning this category. It happens every year. Yeah. It's just like the category is only there to make sure Nintendo comes home with something. So it'd be great if Nintendo doesn't come home with this at all, and they're not in the Game of the Year conversation. I just want them to feel bad for once. So
Jesus.
I mean, Slomo isn't wrong, because, the way they're coming after my emulators, yeah, I wish them all the misery in the world. No awards. I want them to come away with 0 awards. I'll show.
I have no hate toward Nintendo, but I'll say this. I've played 3 of these: Astrobot, Super Mario, Astrobot, Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom, and Plucky Squire. I liked Plucky Squire. I wasn't blown away by it as much as I thought I would be. Zelda is good. It's not great, and I'm glad it was not nominated for Game of the Year because it did not deserve it in my book. Astrobot, I gave a 9, although I think not all 9s are created equal, and I had to come to that realization because I'm like, this isn't a 9 for me for what it is, but it's not touching an Elden Ring or something. You know what I mean? It's not that 9. You know what I mean? So this is weird for me in my head.
At least it came out this year.
That's true. That is true. But out of all of these here, I think Astrobot, and I've had my nephew come by and he played the hell out of it. He loves it. And so I would go with Astrobot for best family game. Just for that alone.
Astrobot it is. All right. Best fighting game. I haven't played none of these, so off you go.
All right, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, Spike Chunsoft and Bandai Namco, Grand Blue Fantasy Versus Rising, Arc System Works, Cygames, Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection, Arcade Classics, Capcom, Multiverses, Player First Games, WB Games, Tekken 8. It's going to be Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, in my opinion.
Of course it'll be Dragon. And the problem is? Multiverses was here before, but then they dropped it and they brought the game back, and now it's back in the awards when it's already been in the awards. So I don't know. They must have needed something to fill in there, because there's no way this game has a second chance.
I think Tekken 8 will win. I don't know why, because I don't play fighting games no more. So, but I don't know Tekken 8.
100% Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. It had such a blow up, if you all remember, where people were like doing dances to how Majin Buu dances with that African beat, like all of that. It was all on TikTok, and when you get that kind of virality, I suppose that's when it really.
But isn't Dragon Ball fans always hype for anything Dragon Ball related?
I think you need to calm down. Calm down. All right, relax.
I asked the question.
Okay.
I will.
That's not true. That's just not true.
Okay.
But it had a crazy peak too. Like if you look at Steam, it had like, I think, what is it? It had a peak of 122,000 554 people. So like it had a lot of people on it. And so it did really well this year. I think it might have kind of calmed down now, but that happens, right?
Yes,
But,
yes.
yeah, but I think that was the one that really struck the hardest this year would be Dragon Ball.
Yeah, it was super, super anticipated, I recall. And it was funny. It was very funny too, the videos people were coming out with afterwards about the difficulty of it as well. So
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right, with the
fucking
Vegeta, his
Vegeta,
gorilla form.
Saiyan
Yeah,
Vegeta, yeah.
his monkey form, right? Yeah.
This shit was hysterical. All right. Yeah, that's good. I mean, yes, you can send him a link. You know how to send the link?
Maybe.
Oh, sorry, you just copy and paste.
That's
I
it.
don't. Yeah, I don't have Blue Sky, whatever the fuck, on the browser.
What
So
up?
you'd have to,
Blueski.
whatever it's called.
Man, I was talking to this girl and she gave me a blue ski. I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah.
Wait.
It was
So yeah,
basic.
just copy the link up
That sounds
top.
wonderful.
Yeah,
Yeah, I did.
and then you could just send it to him. All right,
Yeah.
scroll up.
Yep.
Okay,
Oh.
best RPG.
Oh boy.
Dragon's Dogma 2, Capcom. Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erd Tree from Bandai Namco. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Square Enix. Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth. Ryuga, Gotoku, Studio, Sega. Metaphor, ReFantazio, Studio Zero, Atlas, Sega.
Why is Dragon's Dogma 2 here?
I don't know. They
Shouldn't
needed
be
something
there.
to fill the category, I guess.
Yeah, they needed another RPG.
Dragon Age, the Veilguard is
Oh, yeah.
clearly available.
Sounds crazy, but Dragon Age is better than Dragon's Dogma. Sorry.
No. Well, I mean, it probably is too close to get nominated. Like a lot of the publications where they put their nominations in, maybe when they initially ballot their votes, maybe Dragon Age wasn't available because it wasn't released yet.
I don't
Maybe.
know.
Yeah, I agree. I can see that. I'd give it to. I think if Dragon Age Veilguard had scored higher and been like more of a fan favorite, they would have made an exception like they've done for Elden Ring. But if I speak, yeah, I'm gonna give it to Metaphor ReFantazio because I had a fantastic time with that game.
Yes.
Personally.
Personally, I would have kicked out one of the games to put in Persona 3 Reload, but hey,
Oh
that's
yeah,
just me.
that was great. Yeah, get Dragon's Dogma out of
I'll
there to
call
get
it.
Persona 3 Reload up in there.
What would you eliminate? What would you eliminate, Singer?
To be honest, I would eliminate Dragon's Dogma 2 because I can agree with Elden Ring getting nominated for this because it's still a fantastic RPG, right? Despite it being a DLC, I can see it being good.
Uh-oh. Yeah,
I know.
Yeah, we gonna have some contention on that one.
But the thing is, it's like when I look at this category, it hurts because I like a Dragon and I like Metaphor, and I can't pick between the two.
I thought for sure you'd give it to Like a Dragon.
Thing is, I gave it to Like a Dragon because I know Metaphor will win other awards, and I want the Yakuza devs, Raigaku Goku Studio, to actually get something because the game deserves it. So,
what if Metaphor doesn't win anything else?
I will. That'll be a tragedy. There is no way it doesn't win anything. Yeah, there's no way Metaphor doesn't come away with some.
I think Metaphor deserves to win this, but I do think.
Over Final Fantasy VII, really?
Yeah.
For you?
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
Yeah, I
Did you even beat Metaphor yet?
I haven't played it since Veilguard came out, so I'm at the end. I will beat it before the VGAs actually happens. I will beat it before then. But I did beat Rebirth, and I enjoyed Rebirth a lot. Chapter 10 can die in hell though, and I thought the ending was a bit convoluted. But I don't think Shadow of the Erd Tree should be eligible for this category, and I also don't think Dragon Dogma 2 even deserves to be here due to lack of quality. So, yeah.
Gonna co-sign that.
What up, Ramon?
Yo,
what's up, Ramon?
Razor Ramon.
Hey, what's happening?
What's up, brother?
All right. Best RPG, Ramon. What you choosing?
Best RPG. Can you? I don't remember every single one that was.
It's on the screen.
Oh, okay. 1 second. Sorry. Oh,
You know, we also had someone else not read the screen, but that was several years ago. So anyway, if you could just.
Oh man.
Dragon's Dogma
Okay,
2.
so.
Oh, you want? Okay, you got it.
So, sadly, I have not played any of these, but I'm going to just say, from everything that I've been hearing, especially from a narrative standpoint, Metaphor Fantasio sounds like it should be. I mean, just from a narrative perspective. Because Final Fantasy VII Rebirth looks like an all-around winner, but yeah, I'll say Metaphor Fantasio.
I wasn't expecting that. I will be honest. I was expecting you to say Rebirth.
Well,
I'm quite shocked.
Well, the thing is like, you know, I've been listening to what people have been saying about narrative on both, and although Rebirth sounds amazing, like all of the things I've been hearing about Metaphor, especially like with the themes that they're tackling, and you know, things of that nature, it just sounds like that game would be more deserving of it. I mean, from a technical standpoint, you know, there's no comparison, but I think, you know, the only reason I have no intention of even playing Metaphor is because it's too long. I just, you know, I'd love to, but it's just too long.
It is pretty long, depending on how you play it. Like the way I play it, it'll take forever for you, right? Because I put in like nearly 200 hours into it. Like that's how much I loved it. For me, if I had to give it to any game, it's definitely Metaphor. So it's almost a masterpiece, in my opinion.
That's
Just a few shortcomings. Yeah, I loved it, and that's my first Atlas game ever, and it just blew me away.
Your first Atlas game.
First ever, Luke.
Go ahead and play those Persona games, my boy.
I'm about to jump on them, and I heard 3 was really good. So
start with 3. Yes.
Yes. Play 3.
Definitely. And Dragon's Dogma 2, I'm whooped slow on that. I did not like Dragon's Dogma 2. I tried my best to like it. It just would not click for me. I just don't think it was that good. Personally, I don't think it should be here versus something else that could be in its place. Veilguard. There are a few other games that probably.
There's a lot of RPGs that came out this year. The fact that they put in Dragon's Dogma 2's trash behind, and a DLC is just.
Yeah, I'm really like that. When I saw that highly telegraphed move with that questionnaire, like that was the most telegraphed thing I'd ever seen in my life. As soon as I saw that little questionnaire thing Jeff put out, I'm like, okay,
you can tell
they're trying to find a way to put Erdtree in there. Yeah, I mean, it was so obvious.
It was very obvious.
So like,
and that bothers me too for a lot of reasons.
Yeah, it's messed up, man. How many? There's some good games that could have been in that.
It's a lot, and that's why I think Erdtree might actually steal this category because of that.
I think Erdtree will get it because it's not going to win Game of the Year. There's just no fucking way. Exactly. There's no way.
That's my thinking. And if it does win Game of the Year,
at this point, I wouldn't say it's a sure thing. It's not going to because it's already in there to begin with when it shouldn't be. So it's not that much of a stretch to say that it'll actually win.
Thing is, it'll lose all the other categories. If it loses Best RPG, it's gonna get Game of the Year. That's why I'm gonna follow the award.
Although that would, oh my god, if Erdtree wins Game of the Year, so many people are going to be upset. But I do generally agree with that. Like although usually I kind of go that route when it's like clearly there's 2 games that are far and away the front runners for Game of the Year. If one wins in the majority of the categories they go up against, the other one wins Game of the Year. It just seems like they kind of like do a kind of balancing out to make sure that they both get their due. But yeah, if Metaphor doesn't win this, I think Metaphor ends up winning Game of the Year because it didn't win Best RPG. If it wins Best RPG, it's not winning Game of the Year.
Well, I hope it's like a Dragon Infinite Wealth because they deserve. Because the ending to that game was, oh man, it was just wonderful.
Can I ask a question about the Like a Dragon?
Yeah.
So, although I liked the first, well, quote unquote, first Like a Dragon, the way they jumped the shark with the silliness, and after playing all the Kiryu games, like I'm just wondering, like how silly is Infinite Wealth and the Man Who Changed. Well, I imagine the Man Who Changed His Name is a Kiryu game, so it won't be too goofy. But how goofy
No.
is Infinite Wealth?
It's not. It's like the storyline is for reasons. The storyline is a lot more serious.
Okay.
Like there's a lot of stuff going on with like Kiryu and stuff you find out in there, and some reoccurring characters from the previous games.
Okay.
And
Maybe I'll give
there's
it
a
a
lot
shot
of
then.
things without spoiling anything. It feels like it's probably this is the Kiryu's final game, maybe one more, and then that's what it feels like.
I thought the Man Who Changed His Name came after.
No, it's before.
It's before. Okay.
Yeah, it came before that.
The man who changed his name is how he got to America.
Oh, okay, I see.
But Infinite Wealth is much more of a upbeat kind of. I think he was right about that though. Overall, though, right? Like even though the story itself might be more grounded, but I've seen tons of like super like cheesy, like you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I
I
mean,
know the side content is always like that. Like I
Yeah.
mean, there's I can live with that because I usually mainline the games anyway because the hot and cold between the goofiness and the seriousness is I'm not a fan of, but I still like the stories. So as long as the main line, is
it
pretty
is
consistent. Okay.
like because obviously it's kind of goofy because it's like they're Japanese, they don't speak English, and they end up in Hawaii, and you get the whole stereotypes and the goofiness and stuff. Obviously, but it's the main actual arc in story is as Umbra said, grounded. It's a lot. It's serious. There is a lot of serious notes in it. Like
So it takes place in Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
Is it what is the year of the game? Like what year is the game in? Is it like 1990 something, 2000?
It's modern. It looks like modern times, right?
It's modern.
Yeah. The early games they were just starting to get
so does the game touch at all on the disenfranchisement of the Hawaiian people, of Samoans at all?
There is actually some quests to do with that.
Oh, that's cool.
There is some side quests to do with that, but you don't get too many. Like it touches on it slightly, but it's really more about what happens to Kiryu and the overarching story. And there's obviously base building in the game. You get your own island, which is a fun little side thing, building your own base.
The Japanese guy gets his own island in Hawaii, where they already have taken over
it's a video
Hawaii.
game. We can just move on.
I'm just saying, it's just
because you asked him that question in the first place as a gotcha, and he was like, "Actually, it doesn't include that." Yes, you did.
But no, look, and
Yes,
him saying
you
it was
did.
a side quest and it's really more about the Japanese main character anyway. That doesn't.
Oh,
sure
yeah,
is a lot of favoritism going on over there in Japan.
Yes, see, I could tell Arcade in the chat played it. Yeah, it takes place in Japan because it's a cross story, and then they meet up. So you have Ichiban in Hawaii, Kiryu in Japan, and you switch between the two, and then eventually they both meet up because shit happens. And yeah, police corruption is a big thing in there. I mean, it touches on some stuff. I personally think it should win this award because it deserves something because it's such a good game. But I'm probably not going to win it.
I can't wait to catch up to this because I'm so far behind, man. Like trying to play
you got a lot of games. You got a lot of games.
Yeah.
I'm like on part 3. I'm probably.
Oh yeah, you got a ways to go.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna skip. People told me to skip 3 and just watch it like a playthrough on YouTube or something because it's kind of like outdated as hell.
I didn't get to finish Like a Dragon.
Yeah.
The thing is you want to play it so you can understand where Kiryu was coming from because
exactly,
especially in like The Man Who Erased His Name and Infinite Wealth, there's a lot of reoccurring characters back from those games. So you might not know who they are if you haven't played the games or where they're coming from. So there's a lot of callbacks to the previous games because So
Yeah,
I would play it so you can understand, like, why Kiryu is the way he is, because
that,
he goes
that
through a lot of shit.
that's my
Yeah.
thinking. That's why I didn't want
Yeah.
to do it and want to skip it because just for that reason alone. I was going to say though, what just before we move on, I'm sorry to drag it, but with what's his name, Majima, is that going to be in Hawaii too for the pirate one?
Yeah, that is that.
Okay.
No, I don't think it's Hawaii. I can't wait to play it because Majima is the perfect character for that game. He's got the
See,
right amount of craziness for it.
I love Majima, but I gotta see because it just looks like more goofy. Like Majima's my favorite character too. Kiryu being a very, very close second. But I love Majima, but
Come on,
it just looks like he just jumped the shark so far.
No,
I
no,
think
no.
He literally
like,
jumps a shark in the tree.
the thing is, like, Majima's character, it fits so well. Like,
It does. It does.
If it was anyone else, it wouldn't work. But because it's Majima and he is crazy, literally
Yeah,
crazy,
he's insane.
like
Yeah.
it works for the character. Like, so I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, next, Kiryu-chan.
Kiryu-chan.
All right. Next,
Kiryu-chan.
action adventure game. Astrobot, Team Asobi, SIE, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, Ubisoft. What is it? Montpellier, Ubisoft, Silent Hill 2, Bluebird Team, Konami, Star Wars Outlaws.
You already know that's not
Don't
going
even
to
get
win the way
me
you said
Mass
that.
Entertainment, Ubisoft, The
You said
Legend
it
of
twice.
Zelda,
You
Echoes
said it
of
twice.
Wisdom. Silent
You already
Hill
know
2.
that's not going to win the way you said it. Outlaw.
You know it's bad when you gotta say it twice.
For real.
Who let Star Wars Outlaws in here?
Who put this in?
Yeah, that's what I'm
Get out.
wondering. I
I'm
personally,
I hope Prince of Persia wins because that was
So
a
do
really
I.
good game.
Yeah.
And I just hate the fact that Ubisoft disbanded the team that made it and turned down the sequel. So I kind of like secretly hope it wins so that like they would have to bring someone up on stage who is no longer a part of the team that's working on it, so they could then hopefully say something very disparaging about Ubisoft, but they probably won't. And,
No, but it would still be nice to see Ubisoft have to sit there and see a game that whose team they disbanded wins an award for doing a good job. But they rewarded it with disbandment. So
That would be crazy for that to happen and go out there and start trashing them.
yeah, it would be.
I know you guys like another game, but you're not gonna get it. Guess what?
Thing
and
is,
if you're upset about that, speak to Yves Guillemot. IVES trash bag Guillemot. That's who
I
you
was going
talk
to
to.
say Eve's douchebag Guillemot.
the thing about it is, Prince of Persia I want to win, but I have a feeling Silent Hill 2 might win this because I don't think it's going to win anything else. So I think, well, actually,
Yeah, I'd
maybe
like
one
for
other
Silent Hill
category.
2 to win this. Yeah.
I mean, it's either going to be that or Zelda, because Zelda's got to win something, right?
No.
Why not?
Oh, come on, it's Nintendo, man. It's Nintendo. You know they're gonna give Nintendo
do better,
one.
Nintendo. Do
No,
better.
no. But we already know Nintendo will always win at least one award.
It won't be this one.
Yeah, as far as this category, though, looking at all these here, Astrobots, Prince of Persia. I didn't play Silent Hill 2 or Outlaws, but everything else I played. Prince of Persia easily outclasses everything else here. Easily. It to me, it should have been in the Game of the Year nomination. That's how much I loved it.
I agree. Even if it didn't win, it should have got a nomination for that.
Yep. Super underrated game.
Yeah,
Not
it's
enough
so
love
good.
given to it. Not enough people played it. A lot of
Yeah.
that is Ubisoft's fault, but just it's so underappreciated. Such a great game.
Well, part of it is Ubisoft's fault, but a lot of people weren't willing to give it a chance because the minute they saw that, you know, who
Saw
the protagonist is, and they're
Uh-huh.
like, it's not a Prince of Persia. It's like,
It's woke.
it says the Lost Crown. And if you listen to the explanation they're giving you on the story, the prince has been kidnapped. Like it's a spinoff. Like, but you know,
Yep.
people were foaming at the mouth so bad that, you know, like they didn't even want to give it a chance before they even saw it. and the game
It's
is freaking
sad, man.
phenomenal.
It's sad
phenomenal.
because this year has been like impacted heavily by these stupid narratives,
Yeah.
and it's just ruined gaming discourse like crazy.
Well,
Like-
it really has, and it's reckless. It's reckless and it's
Mhm.
irresponsible because people's like livelihoods are being affected by idiots that are abusing the little power they have being online. Like it's just
Yep.
it's frustrating to see. It really is. But I didn't mean to, drag it off topic. Sorry.
No.
I thought that fit the whole, But yeah, no, it's just sad. But if I had to pick, it's definitely Prince of Persia.
Yeah.
What they'll
same here.
probably give it to,
Silent Hill.
probably Silent Hill.
Or Astrobot.
Yeah, one of the two. One of those two.
All three of those are deserving, in my opinion. I would inch it out to Prince of Persia, but Silent Hill does look like they did a really good job.
Yeah.
All right. Best action game.
All right. Best action game: Black Myth Wukong, Game Science, Call of Duty, Black Ops 6, Helldivers 2, Stellar Blade, Shift Up, SIE, Warhammer 40,000, Space Marines 2. I think it'll be Black Myth Wukong.
I think so
Absolutely.
as well. Yeah.
Although
Yeah.
I would say Stellar Blade does have an outside shot at this because it's purely based on action, and I think then again, it good critical reception. So, I wouldn't be surprised if Stellar Blade did snag this though.
See, I could see it happening as well. I would rather Stellar Blade win. Black Myth Wukong is an excellent game, and the critical reception and the sales and everything have been not the critical reception, the gaming reception. Critical reception was decent, but actual user reception has been higher. But one thing I say is, having played Wukong, like Stellar Blade is action adventure and it has a boss rush mode. Black Myth Wukong is a boss rush. Like, it's
True.
you know what I mean? So like Stellar Blade contains a mode that is all of what Black Myth Wukong is. And Wukong is a good game, but it also came with some technical issues that I don't know if they ironed out, but it came with some technical issues that should knock it down a peg just for that.
What, did you play it on console, on PlayStation, or?
No, I played it on PC.
Okay. So I didn't have any issues, but then again, I'm sorry to throw it out there like this to sound bragging, but I have a higher.
Oh, here we go.
You one of the 4090 crowd?
No, hold on. When you say what you about to say, make sure you got your pinky up in the air.
It's
Okay?
already, it's literally, I got it propped up right now. So I'm playing on a 4080 Super, RTX 4080 Super. I just make sure that you all heard that.
Beautiful card. Yes, beautiful card.
Yes,
Beautiful card.
Quite powerful.
Quite powerful indeed.
Indeed. And let me stop being stupid. I didn't have any issues with Black Myth. I'll say that, but because of the byproduct of me having such a powerful card. Now, those that are on console, I don't know how they did it. And I'm guessing a lot of our Hoove brothers, that's the PlayStation guys, if you all didn't know, a lot of our Hoove brothers, I think, stomached it because that was their way to try to rub it in Xbox guys' face. Like, oh, we're playing it. You can't. But to me, it was the worst way to play it. To me, that had to be played on PC. So I can see why you say what you say for sure on it being taken down a peg, because on console it was just I think you pushed down to 30 frames, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, let me
Well, they
clarify.
did have a performance mode on PlayStation, but the way it was implemented was the performance mode was a starting frame rate of like 30 frames per second, and then they use frame generation to get it up to 60, which is not at all the preferred way of how you should implement frame generation. Frame generation, typically you want to be at like a minimum of like 60, or even if you're going to go lower than that, 50 frames per second before using frame generation to get you a little bit more performance. Shouldn't be used to create a performance mode, because it just it introduces way too much latency.
A lot more issues with the
the lower the frame rate, the more latency you're going to get out that frame generation.
The other thing,
and you don't want that with an action game either. That's terrible.
The other thing about the technical issues too is like, okay, so I'm on at the moment. I'm on a 4070, and I only experienced one, I think one or two areas, like when I got to the dragon boss, where my frame rate literally tanked from like 70, it was like between 70 and 80 frames down to like 15, then 20, then 30, then 15, then it
Oh
jumped back up
man.
to 60. So like that was the only time that happened, and it was like, I just had to wait for it to stabilize, and then everything went back to normal. But the technical issues, one of them is hitboxes. The hitboxes were way too big for certain bosses, certain enemies. Like you'll be like a good way away and you're still getting hit. So it was like, and at first I thought it was just me, but then a couple other people I was talking to, they're like, man, what's up with the hitboxes? And then I started, Fonz was another person who mentioned it too. He's like, the hitboxes are egregious. He's like, wait till you get a little later in.
They were a little bad, I will admit. Also, too,
Yeah.
was like one or two enemies that had weird hitboxes where you had to yourself where you were trying to hit them. You
Yeah.
have to hit in a particular spot to do it, and that's probably part of the problem with the design of the boss fights, because you're fighting gigantic beasts and such here and there, right?
Yeah.
But what I will say in his favor, and Saber Zero, it's no cap. I had no issues. I'm not saying no one had issues. With my 4080 Super pinky up, I had none. But I realized I'm that's me. Fonz spoke on it like you said. He said he had issues. I did not.
And he
So
has a
luckily-
4090.
and he has a 4090, right? So I
Yeah,
lucked out. Maybe I got it after a patch or whatever, but I didn't have any issues. But I'm not trying to give it bail when I say all of that. I'm just simply saying playing on PC, you would have a better time than try to play it on console. That's just the truth of it, especially a higher card. But as far as this category, so we can move on, I'm dragging and I'm sorry. I feel like 3 of these games shouldn't even be here. And it seems kind of weird when you see some of these broken down, because best action game, sure, Call of Duty is an action game in a sense, right? Sure, Helldivers.
Yeah, I don't really
is
like it
action.
being in that category, honestly.
Right.
They should have a shooter category.
Exactly, because Warhammer, Helldivers, and Call of Duty are in this, and it just muddies it up a little bit for me.
I have to respectfully disagree with that, because if you're looking for a quintessential action game, Space Marine 2 is that. There's tons of action. You're in the fight. You're strutting around. There's this heavy power suited Space Marine taking on hordes, fighting bosses, big explosions, guns, melee combat. It's a quintessential action game.
Okay. Well, I'll give you Space Marine. What about the other two?
Yeah, they can go.
Okay. All right. So we got to compromise. Now, I haven't
Yeah,
gotten
there
to
we go.
Space Marine yet. I want to get to that soon, but unfortunately, haven't gotten to that. What
Yeah,
I
same
did
here.
play and loved
Pretty soon.
was Stellar Blade and Black Myth. I loved the hell. Well, I played most of all these except Warhammer. Actually, all of them except Warhammer I played. But Stellar Blade and Black Myth excelled as far as action goes in my book, and I think it's tough for me to pick between the two. But Black Myth, I'm going to pick that simply because before it got moved out of my Game of the Year pick, that's what it was. That was my Game of the Year. I said that so stupidly, but Black Myth was my Game of the Year pick before it was removed by another game. So I would give it to Black Myth just based on how I felt about it. It made me feel so good about it. I did a review of it, so like I really loved it, and I love Stellar Blade. I thought it was excellent. I just think Black Myth was better overall as far as what the combat and everything and how it made me feel, especially you slow walking. I'm sure you did that, Ramon. You walk up slowly to the enemy, like, yeah, it's about that time, and they're walking up with you and they're looking you down. Oh man, so well done for the first game for these guys too. Game Science did a hell of a job, in my opinion.
No, I totally agree with that. Like one of my favorite encounters is the boss in that lake, the pond, the serpent. When his second phase, the lower half serpent, like the way he's holding his spear out at his side and the strut that he has while you're circling each other, it's like the mocap. They really mocapped some wushu masters and like the various types of kung fu masters, because it was like the body language and like everything was just so spot on. Like I remember the first time I fought him, I was like, okay, this is freaking cool. Like, you can well, or at least early on, you can die like a dozen times to some of these bosses, but you don't get frustrated because it's so well done. Now I got some issues later on in the game, but like most of those bosses were like, the ass kicking was fine. Like you just really,
Yeah.
it was just so much fun.
Yeah, I never felt cheated either. I will say that. Like some games make you feel like, oh, that was cheap. I didn't really feel that from this. I thought it was any death I got, I earned it by failing myself.
Well, I got some opinions that I'll share later. I don't want to drag it out.
Let's go.
Luca
let's
probably
go
want
to
to
the
throttle
next
me
one.
right now.
Yeah.
All right,
Alright,
best
best-
VR AR game: Arizona Sunshine Remake, Vertigo Games; Asgard's Wrath 2, Sanzaru Games, Oculus Studios; Batman Arkham Shadow, Camoufla/Oculus Studios; Metal Hellsinger VR, Lab 42, The Outsiders Funcom; Metro Awakening, Vertigo Games.
I mean, I don't play VR, but I love the Metro series, so I gotta give it to Metro just based off that. I mean,
I also don't play VR. I actually don't care for VR at all. But going off from my brother K. Asante, he speak highly of Batman Arkham Shadow, so I'll go with that one as possible.
I don't play VR either, but I've heard good things about Batman Arkham Shadow, so I'll just go with that one as well.
I'm gonna complete the the entire panel not playing VR by saying I don't play VR and I don't care about any of these games. I recognize Batman Arkham and Metro though, so maybe one of those will win.
mhm.
There you go.
All righty. Best mobile game. Yeah, Balatro, whatever. I'm not even gonna go through the rest of these because Balatro's gonna win. So
Yeah,
100%.
best indie game. Balatro is probably gonna win again.
Yep.
Balatro or Animal Will, I would say.
I really wish
Between those two.
Kinzera was in this best indie game because it was really good.
Well, it is the best indie game.
Tales of Kinzera? No, it's not.
And
Oh
best
no,
indie
maybe
game?
not.
Oh no,
No,
that's
no.
good, yeah.
It's in a
Yeah.
different category. My bad. Yeah.
Shout out to me,
that's
Puppet
good.
member for 45 months. Appreciate you, my boys. Saying hi, hello. Okay.
Hey there.
Best
Hey.
debut indie game: Animal Well, Shared Memory / Big Mode, Balatro, Local Thunk, Playstack, Manor Lord, Slavic Magic / Hidden Horse, Pacific Drive, Ironwood Studio / Kepler Interactive, The Plucky Squire, All Possible Futures / Devolver.
I mean, Balatro's gonna take it, right?
Yeah, Balatro's
I mean,
gonna win that.
To
Yeah.
me, it's between Animal Will or Balatro. One of those are going to get it.
Yeah. I mean, I love Manor Lords, but there's no way in hell it's winning that.
Plucky Squire, like, I mean, it was decent. It was fun, but I'm not even sure I would have put it in here because I mean I enjoyed my time with it, but I don't think it was like I don't know if I would have nominated it like this, but
Unfortunately, agree. I thought it was going
Yeah.
to be better than what it was. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't as
yeah,
great.
exactly. So I guess
Hey, look at that.
everything I've heard, Balatro will be it.
That's
All right.
Manor Lords right there. There we go. Yeah.
Okay, best indie game: Animal Well, Balatro. Okay, Lorelei and the Laser Eyes, Simogo / Annapurna Interactive, Neva, Nomada Studio, Devolver, UFO 50, Moss Mouth.
I think Balatro's going to end up winning that too, but I hope I hope Neva wins. I like Nomada Studio. They made Gris. I have
studio.
Neva and haven't played it yet. I'm going to get to it eventually. But I really like their work, and I think they make very good games.
Exactly.
So I hope they win.
Exactly what Slow-Mo said. Like, I think Balatro will probably win, but like having played Gris, Neva is in my wish list for soon. If it's only as good as Gris, then it would get my personal vote. Just excellent studio, but yeah, probably going to be Balatro.
All right. Best community support: Baldur's Gate 3, Larian, Final Fantasy. Which one is that?
14.
14, Square Enix, Fortnite, Epic Games, Helldivers 2, No Man's Sky, Hello Games.
No freaking Hell Man Sky. Absolutely, hands down.
Yeah, the thing is, I think No Man's Sky could win it, but the thing is, this is such a toss-up because Final Fantasy 14 normally wins it, But Fortnite is also on top of their game right now. They got the whole Snoop Dogg Eminem collaboration going on. People love that shit.
Well, Fortnite should win it every year. I mean, with the content.
Well, but then again, Final Fantasy 14 puts out expansions that are equivalent to your mainline Final Fantasy games. Like, that story in of itself is absolutely stellar. And Yoshi P is absolutely smacking it with this game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I would give it to 40. I'd give it to Baldur's Gate 3. But, if my bias is showing there. But, go on.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, no, go on.
I was going to say, one of the biggest reasons why I would give it to No Man's Sky, in spite of all of that, is every single thing they have supported that game with has all been at no extra cost. I mean, all of the content,
pretty strong.
The visuals, how they upgraded the visuals, the physics, like just all of that content, all of that stuff over all these years, and it's all been free, all of it. I don't even understand that. Like, I think at this point they deserve to be, paid a little more for that. But like, just everything. It's all been at no cost, and it hasn't been just cheap rinky-dink stuff like they give you a couple collectibles. Like, this has been some major updates. So that's why I would give it to them, and I really hope that they take that into account, because it's been quality content, not just throwaway stuff.
I saw the stuff they did for No Man's Sky, and I never played that game, and even that made me want to jump on it. Like that most recent one, it's like, you get to do this. Like, I saw the way we're going underwater and all that. I'm like, man, this looks really, really damn good. So I would agree that it's very clear. And I mean, we know when this came out, a decade ago almost, or something like that.
Yeah.
Clearly, he's been putting in work, him and his team. So kudos to him. I know he started off like kind of by himself or something like that. But like,
no, he always had a studio, but it was a rocky start because they made a lot of promises. Okay. And then a lot of the things that they said was going to be in the game wasn't in the game at launch, and so it really kind of pissed a lot of people off. And so they've been they got a lot of death threats, which is never cool. And the studio definitely went through some rough times in the beginning, but they've really turned it around. Yeah, and it's one of like those feel good stories, where things a little rough, but then they right the ship. So
Gregor says the studio flooded during development too.
Damn.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, from what I've seen, I would say No Man's Sky out of these here, but then you got Final Fantasy 14 and Fortnite, so it's kind of hard to really say that. Also, too, it feel like WoW probably should have been here, because I've been hearing nothing but love from WoW from like all the people playing it.
The thing is, it's best ongoing game. That's more that kind of thing. Because if I think about the community, like Final Fantasy community goes all out with fan art, meetups, the whole thing. It's like it's trying to take the place of WoW. Obviously, it won't, because WoW will just, unless something drastically happens, you'll still have a fantastic player base. But if you're talking the two big MMOs right now, it'd be WoW and 14. And I just think 14, there's a lot more there's a lot more community about it. Okay. Like, if you look on Twitter and you type in Final Fantasy 14, you'll just be inundated with like fan art, artwork, cosplay, community meetups, all the Comic Cons and all them will have Final Fantasy 14 shit there.
Do they facilitate all those things, or is that the community just doing it on their own?
They help support it. So, like, they set up meetups, they set up big, like, they even do live concerts with a whole ass orchestra. Like, they even have their own orchestra that travels around and plays all the Final Fantasy music, like, including 14. Like, it's a whole thing with that. Like,
yeah. Quick question: has Yoshi P recognized that Black people were in medieval times yet? Until he recognizes that I'm not voting for anything that he does.
Not in my fantasy, he said.
Right. Yeah. I will say though, when I look at the content, I'm kind of glad he didn't put us in there.
Oh no, I would love to had the game feature slaves and have a bunch of black people in there. I would have loved
Hey,
it.
he didn't have to. He didn't have to make it. Look,
What
there's
if
an easy way around that.
Could have made us the
You don't
masters.
have to make any of the black people the bearers, because those are
Right.
the ones that were enslaved.
Yep.
Let them be the ones that's beating on the bearers.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all
It's
you have
our
to
turn
do.
now. Let's change things up.
Thing is, you know what's crazy? He has that thought about that, but there's plenty of black people in Final Fantasy 14, so he doesn't have anything against them. He must have just envisioned something strange.
No, he literally said historically there weren't any black people.
We know that
he
was
stepped on
false.
the rake with that one.
Yeah,
right?
which
Well,
is
I
a
mean-
dumb comment to make, because Final Fantasy 16 don't even take place in our world. So why are you
Yeah,
even
I
saying
know.
that?
Yeah.
I think they caught
Yeah, I
him
think
off
he was
guard with
just
that
yapping,
question.
honestly.
Yeah, I think it was. The thing is, I also have to give it to 14, because when I think like their expansions, like Shadowbringers was a 90 rated meta. Then you had Endwalker, which was a 92. So like it's always huge quality content. That's why I think 14 will win it. Personally,
Yeah.
it's either that or No Man's Sky. So
All right, guys. If we can just keep it to 5 minutes per topic at this
Okay,
point,
yeah.
that'd be great. So we can finally get to the game of the year. But yeah,
Okay.
so best ongoing game: Destiny 2, Bungie, SIE. I don't even know why that's in there. Diablo 4, Blizzard, Xbox, Final Fantasy 14, Square Enix, Fortnite, Epic Games, Helldivers 2, Arrowhead Game Studios, SIE. Like, why is Helldivers 2 on here? It just came out.
Exactly. Really shouldn't be in this category. It's how is it best ongoing? It's been out for less than a year, but here's what it is. I think Fortnite should win this every year until there's actually a better ongoing game that can really compete with it.
That, and like I noticed, like the a lot of people have been asking where's Sea of Thieves. Like that's constantly ignored as well.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Yeah,
they keep
I do
ignoring
think Sea of Thieves should definitely be here.
It
Yeah.
should be. It should be there, man. They've been supporting that game for how long? Almost 10 years now.
Yeah, and it's still going strong too.
Yeah, it still
not
has
like-
a healthy community, man. Like I don't know why they keep ignoring it.
And where is World of Warcraft?
Yeah,
Like World of Warcraft should be on there, because if we're talking ongoing games, World of Warcraft has been around longer than all these games.
Yep.
Somebody in the chat said that World of Warcraft is the LeBron of MMOs.
I mean, to be fair, it kind of is, because everyone here's a little history for you. Way back when, everyone tried to make the MMO World of Warcraft killer. Guess what? Not a single one of them succeeded. I mean, it is World of Warcraft will just stand the test of time until Blizzard colossally fucks up at some point, maybe. But yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'll personally give this to... Okay, I'll give No Man's Sky best community support, and 14 wins this. I'll compromise. There we go.
All right.
Anyone else? No?
Fortnite. I already said Fortnite.
I'll go Fortnite too.
Yeah, it's probably going to be Fortnite.
All righty. Games for Impact. Indica, Odd Meter / 11-Bit Studios, Neva, Life is Strange, Double Exposure, Deck 9 / Square Enix, Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2, Ninja Theory, Xbox Game Studios, Tales of Kinzera, Zao, Surgent Studios, EA, Closer, The Distance, Osmotic Studios, Skybound Games.
All right, so I have played. I own Neva and Life is Strange Double Exposure. I haven't played them yet. I have played Tales of Kinzera. I've played Hellblade 2, and I've played Indica. I've never even heard of Closer the Distance, but I'm voting for Indica with this one. That game, it's not a very long game. Maybe take you like about 4 or 5 hours, but games for Impact. Yeah, that's one of those games when you finish it, you just kind of sit there for like 5 minutes trying to like process the ending. Like, what just happened here? Like, maybe not even just the ending. The last 30 minutes of the game had my mouth on the floor. And it's such a very uniquely created game. You're a nun who is like kind of like cursed with a demon that keeps messing with her. And she's at this, like, I forgot what they call places where nuns are at, monastery, whatever. And like, all the other nuns can't stand her because they think she's like doing weird things on purpose, but it's really like she's fighting this demon. And then it's just like it goes from there like completely off the rails, where she's out in the world and she's meeting different people. In the game, they change up the game design so frequently, and the story remains engaging the entire time. It's an awesome game.
The other nuns can't tell she's possessed?
No, because they don't
see over there.
They don't see what she sees. It's like a demon that's just like would do the weirdest things. Like this one time they were like doing some kind of ceremony or something, some Catholic thing. And then like she was supposed to grab something, and then the demon appeared out of like the bottle and scared her and made her drop it. And so every time she messes up, the nuns just look at her like, oh my God. They can't stand her. And even in like the way they design the game, they make you do some of the things like they force her to do because they don't like her, so they give her like awful things. This is really like the first 30 minutes of not even that, first 15 minutes of the game before it really opens up, and she leaves and she's doing all this other stuff, and it's ridiculous. It's crazy. It's a good game. It's a really good game. Very underrated. When it first came out, it got really good like reviews, and a lot of people were talking about it, but it was like from a small indie studio no one ever heard of, and so it kind of came and went pretty quickly. But it's definitely deserving to be in this category.
I'd say for me, like there's good story and there's impact, and all of these games, I've only played Tales of Kinzarazal, and all of these games can have an excellent story that can vary on impact. The reason like I said, I haven't played the other ones, but the reason I love Tales of Kinzarazal, one of the biggest reasons is the impact, the emotional impact the game has. Having experienced what he has, the game hits home, it hits hard, and it hits very close. And that's a lot of impact. I've played some games that have some incredible stories, but they may not necessarily have that kind of have a strong impact on me other than, wow, that was an excellent experience. So for me, that's why, I'll be in the corner of Tales of Kinzarazal, because the way the story was delivered with the theme that it was dealing with, and it's such a heavy theme that I think it was, personally, in my opinion, I think it was handled very well. So that's the one that would get my pick, even though I don't think it'll win it.
All right. Innovation and accessibility. So Call of Duty, Black Ops 6, Diablo 4, Dragon Age The Veilguard, BioWare EA, Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown, Star Wars Outlaws. I don't know. I don't know what the accessibility is for any of these games. I could look it up, but honestly speaking, I'm sure that they will choose whatever's best. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's Diablo 4 because they have a blind mode. If you're blind, they have a mode where you can still play the game. So I think, man. Yeah, I think that'll probably win it, because I don't think any of the other games have a blind mode.
Yeah, that alone should really put them at the top, because I can't even imagine.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Best performance: Brianna White, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth; Hannah Tell, Life is Strange Double Exposure; Humberly Gonzalez, Star Wars Outlaws; Luke Roberts, Silent Hill 2; Melina Jurgen, Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2.
I would say Hellblade 2.
Yep.
You know what? I'm gonna vote for Humberly. I think she was fantastic.
I don't know if I can't tell if that's sarcasm or not.
It's not.
Oh, okay.
It's not. Thought she did a good job. Just the game sucks.
You played Star Wars Outlaws?
I did, yeah.
Damn, I didn't even know that, because you never mentioned it.
Yeah, because I understood pretty.
now that they've updated it and made some necessary changes, I'm going to be.
I might give it a shot again, but yeah, I was not. Look, and I like Massive Entertainment. I feel like Ubisoft chose them because they have a great game engine. It's way better than Unreal, by the way. And they wanted someone who can make a game quickly, but they didn't show out of all their developers, the developers that make Assassin's Creed and stuff like that. You're gonna make a game that has like all these stealth elements in it, and you don't put it on a studio that's experienced in doing stuff like that. They make The Division. Like, why? Like, they clearly didn't really have the experience with that yet, and then you didn't really do your due diligence to make sure they had the right people, support from support studios to make sure it was good to go. It was just Ubisoft being Ubisoft, man.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's scroll up.
All
Okay.
right,
Best audio design: Astrobot, Call of Duty, Final Fantasy, Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2, Silent Hill 2. Okay, so Silent Hill 2 might win this because I don't know if it's gonna get anything else other than like, what was it, the action adventure game or whatever the fuck it was nominated for. Or Hellblade. So Silent Hill 2 or Hellblade.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, because Hellblade, I think it's all about that. The same way with the same way.
Wait, Singer. You know, they came out with all those videos showing off like the fucking motion capture and audio design. Imagine they did all that and they don't even win this category.
Right, that'd be funny.
No, you see, the crazy thing is,
thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah, the thing is, it would be wild if they didn't win it. But also, I think Melina should win the best performance because that game is all about performance and mocap, right? So I think she should
like
just win it. Just purely,
the game does feature her in like 99% of the game.
But she has to do everything basically.
Yeah.
But for audio design, it should win. But I mean, if it doesn't win best performance and this one, I don't know. They might need to, check on Ninja Theory.
Yeah, that would be a kick in the head if the two things that it did best.
Mm-hmm.
They spent so much time. Yeah.
I would definitely say lesson for them to not do that shit ever again. So not make that the main focus.
Yeah.
All right. Umber, did you give your? I guess he's not here. All right, scroll up. He'll probably say Senua's Saga. Okay, so best score in music: Astrobot, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Metaphor, Refantasio, Silent Hill 2, Stellar Blade. Stellar Blade's music was pretty good, I would say.
Stellar Blade's music is fantastic. I got like half those songs on my one of my playlists. Great soundtrack.
Actually, interestingly enough, I was not like a super huge fan of Metaphor's soundtrack or music. I
just like the battle theme.
I feel like the Persona songs are significantly better in my opinion.
Definitely.
See, that was my thing. Like playing Persona 3 Reload, and then you play
Fire, disturbing.
All the songs have this like a beat. They have this, you could dance to it legitimately.
Yeah,
dance to
fire,
it.
Dude.
But with Metaphor, it didn't give the same vibe with the music that Atlas is known for. That's why it was kind of weird.
I wasn't feeling it. Yeah, it was weird. I will agree. I felt like that was the main thing that was off about the game. Like everything else was like fantastic and such an improvement on the Persona games. You know what I'm saying? But then this one, it's like the music just was not hidden. It wasn't hidden for me like the Persona games hit. So.
Unless they base the score on like the way the story and the world is, because it's not the high school drama type thing that Persona games normally have going on. Whereas this is more none of that, so maybe they decided.
Yeah, but even then, I don't think the music wasn't bad, but different settings. So of course you wouldn't have like the same kind of tone and mood for the music that you would in say like Persona 5. But I still think that like what they came up with was just okay. Like it wasn't anything exceptional. That's what was like really what Metaphor my two minor criticisms, because I overall have enjoyed it, but my two minor criticisms were the music wasn't
to get to the end.
fantastic, and I think the main protagonist is he's wet TP. He's wet toilet paper. Like he's just.
I think he gets more interesting near the end.
Okay.
Yeah, very much so. Sorry about the
I-
last one, by the way. I stepped away for a second. Sorry about that.
I
It's
will
okay. I said
say,
Senua for you, so
Yeah.
I will say that having not heard Stellar Blade soundtrack, I was on back when I was still on Twitter. Shout out to Persona, Gaming with Persona. He recorded a clip and put it on Twitter of I guess I don't know if he was selecting an outfit or what, but it was some type of customization he was doing with Eve. And that little clip that I heard, it was probably, I don't know, 10 seconds maybe. I must have replayed that clip like 20 times. And it had
music's fire, dude.
it had me bobbing my head, man. I was like, whoa. So that is just that little clip alone tells me that I would vote for Stellar Blade because that
I would
was
vote for
hit.
it too.
That was
Mhm.
hit.
Stellar Blade's music is fantastic.
Very
It really
Agreed.
It'd be nice if
Astrobot's
they could
music
win
is actually
something.
very good as well. I
Yeah, it
really
is.
enjoy the packing game from
Oh
2020
man, yes.
and this one's music. They're if Astrobot or Stellar Blade won, I would have no
Same.
problems with that.
Same here.
Out of
Same
these
here.
played here, I would say I would probably go with Stellar Blade. I do feel you on Metaphor. I did like the
I was like, man, this man got bars, man. Oh snap! Okay.
Thing is,
That's about it, though. That's the only
the thing is-
that was great.
the thing is though, it's Gregorian chant, right, and it fits right in. So
okay.
that's the
Yeah.
kind of music.
Gregorian
Yeah,
chant.
it's Gregorian
Okay,
chant.
that's cool.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's the effect
All
I'm
right.
going for. Yeah.
Bet. Next category. Okay, best art direction. So, Astrobot, Black Myth Wukong, Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erd Tree, Metaphor Refantasio, Neva. So, I would actually give it to Elden Ring, yeah. Yeah, I'd give it to Elden Ring. Shadow of the Erd Tree, I like the art direction in there. I think they have some very interesting. I mean, From Software always goes hard when it comes to the aesthetics of their games. So yeah, I'd give it to Shadow of the Erd Tree.
I'd give it
Go
to
ahead,
Meta.
Singer.
I'd give it to Metaphor. Thing is, I like Shadow of the. I like Elden Ring's style. It's very me. It's very gothic. It's very dark, but it's got lots of fantasy in there. It's very, very much me. But then Metaphor, I do like the way it looks.
Yeah.
But
Think about
I-
like the final boss for Shadow of the Erd Tree and his second phase. And when like Mikola, he hugs up on Radon, his boyfriend, right? And then he puts one of his arms up and it's like him haloing above Radon and his hair is like cascading down and it looks like it's Radon's. It like blends in with Radon and makes it look like it's his hair. And he's like,
Yeah.
to I, Mikola, and my promised consort Radon. That shit is fire. Like they really when it comes to setting things up in terms of like visuals, they really know how to hit it out of the park when it comes to that stuff.
Yeah, they excel at that.
thematically.
for
Yeah.
sure.
Mhm.
Yeah. Elden Ring, like I took some just the base game. I took so many crazy pictures. Like it's not the greatest looking game as far as fidelity, but the art style is so damn good.
Mhm.
It's like, man, like I enjoy being in that world so much. So I imagine Erd Tree. I haven't gotten to it yet, which I'm going to get to soon. But I already know it's just a kind of a carryover from that. That's the reason why I wouldn't include it because I still feel like it shouldn't be here.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And I loved a lot of the art direction in other games in this. Astrobot feels like it shouldn't be there either, being honest. But Hellblade probably should have been here. I would remove one of either Astrobot or Erd Tree for Hellblade. Hellblade should be there. And I would give it to Black Myth, though. I think Black Myth's art style and art direction was superb.
Black Myth art direction is also very good.
Black
Yep.
the thing. Oh, go
No,
on.
go ahead.
Yeah, I
Go on,
would
go
vote
ahead.
for Black Myth Wukong. Me
The
personally.
thing is, when this photo that they're showing right here, like that could be a wallpaper. That could be a picture. Just look at it. It's got
Looks really
the
good.
correct.
Crazy.
It's got the correct amount of dark fantasy, grim, but
Yeah,
then it's got this
grim
light
dark.
high fantasy touch, and it's just a blend between the two genres, and that's why I think it should win it. But Black Myth is a good shout because Black Myth looks really great too.
It does look
See,
good.
art
Yeah.
direction is a tricky one because there's really good art direction and there's good graphics.
Okay, but we're talking about art direction. Okay, so stick with the art direction. Everybody knows the difference. All right. So art
Black
direction.
Myth.
What would you choose?
Black Myth.
All right, thank you. All right. Best narrative: Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, Metaphor Refantasio, Senua's, Hellblade 2, Silent Hill 2. Silent Hill 2 is probably going to win this.
That would be Metaphor for me. Best narrative.
Yeah, Metaphor. I think thing is, Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, as deep as the story is, it's like, well, it's Metaphor pips it at the line. Hellblade 2, what story? I mean, I guess there is a narrative, but I mean, sure. And I mean, like Silent Hill 2 could win it. The thing is, it's like best narrative. Well, it's the same narrative that was back in the original
Yeah,
Silent
it's the
Hill
exact
2.
same one,
That's
right?
true,
So
yeah.
yeah. So
silly
it's
for that reason.
yeah.
I mean, then honestly, it shouldn't be even in there then. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like Silent Hill 2 is going to win, but I'd be happy with Metaphor winning this.
Anyone else?
I think Metaphor will win. If you look at like the people whose votes really count for this, they probably really digged a lot of the themes that Metaphor was pushing for. And so I think that's why it will win. Silent Hill 2, I mean, largely it's the same story from a game that came out over a decade ago. So
2 decades.
2 decades.
two decades ago. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I say Metaphor.
All right.
All right, best adaptation, Arcane. I don't even know.
Yeah,
Can I
it's
even
not
read through these? Like,
No, there's
Arcane-
no point.
Y'all
There's no
sleeping on
point.
Fallout? What?
No,
what-
I mean
No,
Fallout's
no.
fire. I'm just saying, like, Arcane is just gonna win. It's like
Yeah.
universally praised, and it just finished the season,
Yep.
season 2. So
Yeah.
I feel like
Series-
Arcane's gonna
series
win, but
finale, right?
I would
Yeah.
enjoy it I would enjoy Fallout winning too. So
Then, what did you think of this season? And just to kind of as an aside, I didn't like season 2 as much as season 1 so far. I'm on the last.
Seems
I got to
like
finish the last few episodes, but yeah.
I
that seems like
finished
the
it.
common theme for people not enjoying season 2 as much as season 1.
Yeah, it started off really slow. To me, it didn't get really good until like the end of the 3rd episode, and then it started to kind of like build momentum from there. I think the last episode was very good, but I mean that's a far cry from the first season that was just excellent all the way through. And then I mean I really enjoy Arcane, but it already won this category before. And I feel like give it the Fallout, because Fallout really, like, they took in live action, really made you feel like you were in a vault. You know, they really took the whole world of Fallout and made it look real. And I
They
thought
embraced the silliness of the games. You know, they had you using stem facts, and it's just like that shit is so goofy, but they didn't shy away from it. So I would
Yeah.
like Fallout to win, but I feel like it's going to be Arcane.
The
You
thing
could be
is,
right.
I
Yeah.
can't speak on Arcane because I know the lore inside and out, and there's a lot of scenes, and there's a lot of character reveals, and there's a lot of like how the ending happened, and I know exactly what's going to happen afterwards, like the next season. I can
No, there is
predict
no
the
next season.
storyline. No, but they'll make a new Arcane, not related to Piltover and Zom, which is
Yeah.
the
okay.
zone.
So it's going
Because-
to be called something different.
Yeah, because you have like there's Demacia, there's Noxus, there's the Freljord, there's Ionia, there's Bilgewater, there's Shadow Isles, there's Shurima, there's Targon.
You
and
know
then
all
there's
these by heart
Piltover
like
and Zom.
that?
Yeah, I played League of Legends for like 10
Sheesh.
years.
I see. I'm like, how are you naming these
Like-
off like that?
It's because and there's a variety of champions, and there was some reveals in there, like there was certain iconic scenes, like how people got some stuff in there, and it filled like if you don't play League of Legends, it might not hit the same, But if you understand like the subtle references and stuff that is in the game and it gets into the show, like you enjoy it more.
Helps
So
elevate it more. So, huh?
yeah, it helps elevate it more
Yeah.
because you understand the Jinx, Vi,
Yeah.
Caitlyn, the whole thing. So yeah,
I would say Arcane is still like, even though it's not as great as season 1 for me, it still is good. Animation superb. It could kind of, I feel like they kind of took some inspiration from Spider-Verse a bit.
Mm.
The thing I'll say for Fallout, the reason why I think it'll get it, because one, it was an excellent show. That's just one. Two, it was like nominated for 17 Emmys and won like 2 of them. And then it won awards elsewhere too, like Television Critics Association, the Online Film and Television Association, like Hollywood Professional, like they won it all over. So I think Jeff, knowing that too, and people knowing that, and probably from their love from, they'll probably give it to it for that reason. And the whole Hollywood angle he keeps trying to bring into the shows.
Ugh.
Yeah, I feel like that might be that.
His glazing of any Hollywood celebrity or producer is just it's pathetic. But
yeah, I could probably see Ella like popping up on stage. Funny enough, she's in both series, Arcane and Fallout.
Yeah, she does the voice of Jinx, and she's in the main character in Fallout. She wins regardless.
She wins regardless.
The thing is, it's like I would have preferred the voice of the person who does the voice of Jinx, Sarah Williams, out of League of Legends, but she does a really good job of capturing Jinx's voice. So I'm not mad at it. Yeah,
she a black woman?
White.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, I'm thinking of a different Williams. There's a black woman that did the voice of Ashley in Mass Effect. That's what I thought it was. But go ahead.
The racist?
The races, yes.
Oh, okay. All right. What about you, Ramon?
I haven't watched any of these, so I don't really care.
Okay.
All right. Next one. Let's go. Arcane's gonna win though.
All right. Best game direction. Astrobot, Balatro, Black Myth Wukong, Elden Ring, Shadow of the Earth Tree, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Metaphor Refantasio. What does that mean? Game direction.
On the website, they give a explanation. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys could.
The best is, I guess. Yeah, well, I'll let you read it since you're looking it up.
Yeah, because you need to have it for. I know
best game direction is awarded for outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design.
I
think Balatro will win this.
Yeah,
we had a whole roundtable discussion on Discord, all of us, and I was told, by a few people, don't sleep on Balatro that way, because although it seems simple because it's a card game, essentially, it's really in depth in how the guy presented it, and it's essentially a roguelike in card form, and it's very unique. And I've played it, by the way. I played it now. I played it for a good hour or so. I don't see it as game of the year material, but then again, I still have more to play of it. But because of the uniqueness of how he implements everything and how the card system works, and you get these different tarot cards and all these other things in it to really play around with it, to try, it's really addictive, and it's very innovative in how its approach to it. So it could win this actually right here. Astrobot shouldn't be. I know they always put game design direction here right under game of the year, so it's regardless of me saying that. But Astrobot, I don't feel would even come close to that.
Thing is, all these games are built on something that's previously like Black Myth Wukong, Souls games, right? Not much innovation there. Shadow of the Earth Tree is just more Elden Ring, so we already know what we're getting.
Metaphor blessings.
Metaphor is literally just Persona with a different coat of paint.
Yeah, but I feel like it does like build on and like innovate on things that are in the Persona series, just things that make it better and compared to Persona, like being able to swap out your fucking companions while you're still in the dungeon.
Yeah, but and the archetypes, but I can't.
Mhm.
I don't think it would win because I'm sure that people would think, it's basically Persona, but medieval
understand.
fantasy with a different thing. And then you have like Balatro is probably the most innovative of these games, I would say, because everything builds on something that was previously already there.
Okay.
Slow-mo?
Yeah, I said Balatro. I said that in the beginning. Yeah.
Okay. Ramon?
For me, I would go with Astrobot. I really enjoyed how that game was put together.
How so?
Just like when the way you approach levels, like when you shrink down, like there's a level where you can shrink down to like a 1/16 of your size, and the way you approach the world is different. The world even looks different, even though it's the same world. Like your view of everything is different, and that was really cool. And like the way you manipulate some of the machinery and everything when you're traversing the world. And I mean, it's platforming, but they did some really cool things, like some of the abilities you get by some of the gadgets that you pick up and how you approach the world using those. I found it to be a lot of fun, so that was good for me.
I can agree with. I mean, I get that. A lot of the levels were throwing something different at you that like previous levels weren't really doing. So yeah, makes a lot of sense to me.
Did you play It Takes Two?
No.
I did. Yeah.
What about you, Ramon?
I never got to finish it because my wife had no desire. But yeah, what little
Okay.
what I did.
Oh crap! I did play It Takes Two. My bad. I forgot. Me and Forte played that. Yeah.
Wow, the way you don't
that's
remember
awkward.
playing them, that is awkward.
Yeah, like
Who played the
she
wife?
just doesn't play. She doesn't play games.
I don't even remember. Probably Forte.
Yeah.
You should play It Takes Two. It Takes Two. That is. I played it with Dealer for a bit, and it's actually really good. I understand why it did as well as it did.
You deserve to win because it was a fantastic game.
But to go to
I
your
was-
point,
I was-
though, Astrobot, I probably am being unfair to it because some of that stuff, you're right, it does do a lot of that kind of cool. But I guess it's because other games did it too, and I'm kind of like, eh.
I do want to ask though, since Ramon had mentioned it, I feel like there should be a category for best level design in a game, and I kind of think it's weird that there's not.
I mean, to be honest, there should be a best expansion DLC category, but here we are.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah.
shout out to the Golden Joysticks doing it right. Shadow of the Erdtree wins best expansion. Congratulations. Yes, thoroughly deserved. But anyway. Sure.
All right.
Now, and moving on to games that actually came out this year,
Game of the year. So we have Astrobot, Balatro, Black Myth Wukong, Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erdtree, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Metaphor, ReFantazio. I would like Metaphor to win this, but I think it might be Astrobot.
It feels like they're trying to force Astrobot on us, right?
Astrobot was very well received.
It was.
Astrobot deserves to be in most of the categories that it's in my opinion. That game, my face literally hurt from playing that game because I never stopped smiling. So I think it deserves all the kudos it gets.
Well, hey, that's all you need. And if I have to go to my nephew, he was loving it. He was, kids try to walk up to you like, you try to like say stuff like as if you want to do it. You want us to play Astrobot? I'm like, what do you mean us? It's a one-player game. And but he loved it a lot. I loved it, man. I gave it a 9. And I do agree. I did find this bit of nostalgia in it. But if I had to give a game of the year for sure, that's Metaphor ReFantazio. Black Myth had it. Metaphor took it.
Thing is, I would kick out Shadow of the Erdtree and 7 Rebirth and replace it with Persona 3 Reload, and I'd replace it with Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. And then I'd be happy with that. And then I'd still give the award to Metaphor anyway, because Metaphor is better than those two games. Although saying it's better than Persona 3 Reload I'd have to think on
Reload
that.
was pretty fucking good, man.
Yeah, Reload
pretty
was
fire.
really fucking good. That's why I'm like...
But I would still probably give it to Metaphor, honestly speaking. Even though I really enjoyed Reload, like, significantly. I really enjoyed Reload like a lot. Like that is a great remake, a great remake. But I would give it to Metaphor. It's a new game. You know what I'm saying? So part of the conversation for Game of the Year. First of all, Jeff Keighley, he is a funny guy because again, he came out with that. Oh, by the way, guys, we changed the rules a little bit. we want to expand on some things a little bit. I'm like, oh my god, fucking Shadow of the Erdtree is gonna show up in Game of the Year conversation. In my opinion, it doesn't need to be there based on how it is as a game as well. Like, I really enjoyed Shadow of the Erdtree. Don't get me wrong. Like, I had a great time with it. Fantastic. You guys know I'm a FromSoftware cuck. But the expansion also has some issues. It also has some issues, like the rewards. Let me just go ahead and clear this level for some Smithy Stone 2. Oh, let me go ahead and clear this level for some fucking cookbooks. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Don't
It
say
had some
that,
great
Luca.
aspects.
They're gonna come after you, Luca.
Come after me then. Okay? Come after me then. But like, it had those issues there. Also, Radon being the fucking consort of Mikula came out of nowhere. All right? People can get mad at me all you fucking want. That shit came out of nowhere. All right? Doesn't make any fucking sense. The final boss is fine. Like, I beat him eventually. You know what I'm saying? But, like, just ultimately, there's just some aspects of it where I'm like, well, I don't think I like this, or I don't even think it's like top. I don't even think it's like FromSoftware's best DLC. FromSoftware's best DLC, in my opinion, is The Old Hunters. That shit is fire. The way it expands upon and changes things up from the base games and in regards to lore, it's fucking fantastic. It has to be The Old Hunters. The rewards that you end up getting, the weapons you end up getting, the where it's at in the campaign where you can first enter, which you probably shouldn't because you would be getting your ass kicked, right? But still, fantastic. I'd give it to The Old Hunters. Then I'd give it to after that Artorias of the Abyss, and then after that, okay, Shadow of the Erdtree. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I'm like, it shouldn't be in the Game of the Year conversation at all, personally. And not only that, it's also a DLC. A DLC should not be in the Game of the Year category because you
Right.
have to play Shadow of the Erdtree. I'm sorry, you have to play Elden Ring, a game that came out in 2022, in order to progress in Shadow of the Erdtree. It's not like some other titles like The Witcher, where you could have they have like a set character you can use. But with Shadow of the Erdtree, you have to play through it. You have to beat Radon and you have to beat Moog. Okay. And it's like, depending on where you're at, fighting Moog would be difficult. That is an in-game boss. You know what I'm saying? He's in a secret level off to the distance. Okay, like it's just it's silly. It's silly in my opinion.
It's
Fantastic.
silly for a lot of reasons.
People are glazing it, and rightfully so, because it deserves to be glazed, right? It's great, but like it's not great to the point where it deserved this little tweak. Okay, I think it's absolutely ridiculous that they did this.
It's basically special treatment. It's special treatment for one developer. They didn't do this last year with CDPR and Phantom Liberty.
When they should have, if they were going to do it this way. That's why it made Kojima's tweet even funnier, because I'm like, oh, so you did it because Miyazaki's probably turning up to the Game Awards, so you're like, oh, I got you, boo. And then it's like when Cyberpunk released a fantastic DLC, they were like, nah, not today, son.
Yeah,
and
well,
it was like,
I don't think any DLCs deserve to be in that kind of consideration, but
I'm just saying, like, if they were gonna do it, they should have started it with fucking Phantom Liberty. Now it just looks like fucking bias for FromSoftware. They're always fucking
100%.
glazing FromSoftware, and as they should, because they're like the best game studio in my opinion. But like, yeah, they're always glazing them and just doing too much. Why the fuck is this shit here? It doesn't need to be here.
There's a few issues I had with it too. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say a few issues I had with it beside that, because even going to your point, but Elden Ring coming out in 2022 and you having to do all those other things to get to this area, it's the fact that it's also a bias. You're playing off a game of the year in Elden Ring. That bias is already set in place. We're like, yeah, well, we love that. That was nearly a masterpiece or a masterpiece game. Some of these people gave it 10s. So like you already having that bias coming into this, which was excellent as well. That's crazy tough for these other games to compete against. That's one. Two, I would say too. I've said this on other podcasts. I'll say it on mine. I said it on mine. I'll say it here. Balatro, I get it. Some people really love it. Some people even see it as their game of the year. Understandable. My problem, however, is this is a niche card game, essentially, at the end of the day. One of the complaints or things they told us about when Forza Horizon 5 was snubbed was that, oh, well, it's not a story-based whatever, blah, blah, blah. It's a niche racing game. Well, then how do you explain Balatro being here? Well, it's an indie darling, so you don't have to do a thing. And that goes to the point we were talking about earlier, Slow-Mo, when we were saying, like, a game should be there no matter what it is because of it being on the merit of what that game is. I don't care if it's racing. I don't care if it's RPG. I don't care if it's an action game. Is it really, really superb? That should be the measure. And Forza Horizon 5 was superb that year in general, but it was superb specifically that year. Set records, broke records, sold well, had a lot of people playing it, scored exceptionally well. Fans loved it, snubbed. They tried to lie and claim it missed its it missed the cutoff date. It did not. It was 10 days in advance before the cutoff date. Everything they could do to try to dance around it, they did. And now all of a sudden, oh, Balatro is here. And I'm like, there's no consistency. And there's no shade to Balatro or those developers. It's just the fact that, they snubbed that for that. And they kind of seem to be wishy-washy with how they handle it. Even with Urge Free being here, it's just like, why are you doing this? We know why, but like, why are you doing this? You mess up your own award show doing this. It feels like a lack of integrity.
Well, they've never really had that, now have they?
Jeff's got no integrity whatsoever.
And
and it's obvious.
I do want Shadow the Erdtree to win just for the memes, because I know Twitter is going to be hilarious. It is going to be one of the best days on Twitter if Shadow the Erdtree wins, because the meltdowns are going to be spectacular. So I want to see it just for
and
that.
I'll be leading the charge. Pissed.
Of course. Thing is, I want Metaphor to win, but I don't think it will. I think it'll either be Astrobot or Shadow of the Erdtree at the end of the day.
I would like to see Metaphor win. Although that would be my choice. If Rebirth wins, I'll be fine with that. If Astrobot wins, I'll be fine with that. But I think I don't think Black Myth Wukong has a chance, because I think it's here because it's really popular and it's the most sold game, even though they tried to ignore the most sold game of last year, which is hilarious.
Yep. Cowards.
Right. But I think the same people who are voting for this are the same people who do reviews that end up in Metacritic. And when you look at what was in Metacritic, that's the Black Myth Wukong has the lowest Metacritic score of a game that's in Metacritic right now. That's been a game of the year, and so I think it's just not going to cut it. And I think Balatro is only there because it's the token indie, and they always got one indie that they put in there to make it seem like that they know what they're talking about, and they don't. And that's it. I think it's either really going to come down to really three games. I don't think I'm trying not to give any kind of credence to Elden Ring potentially winning this, and so I think it's just going to come down to either Astrobot, Rebirth, or Metaphor.
The thing is, I think I know why Black Myth Wukong is there. Jeff Keighley's trying to get the Chinese audience, probably, because they went mad and supported this game. Mm-hmm. So if you put it up for Game of the Year, the Chinese audience is going to want to tune in, right? So I think and then after the show, he's going to brag about how he had the best viewership of all time. Yeah, that's because all the Chinese people who love this game tuned in for it. Like, come on now. I could kind of see what you're doing there, Jeff. You want the Chinese audience. I know what you're doing.
What if Black Myth just wins flat out because of that bias?
I mean, to be honest though, Black Myth did win the Game of the Year at the Golden Joysticks. But
it sure did.
But that's because it's fan voted, and everyone who loved it in China came out and voted for it, and it won by a landslide because they allowed the Chinese community to vote in it. But Jeff probably saw that and was like, I can have a piece of that pie. Let's go.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely politics and bureaucracy and all that. It's definitely coming into play.
He is a businessman at the end of the day. I mean, sure, he does the Game Awards, but like an hour of it is ads.
He's not a business
all this
man.
stuff is about business. I mean, even the nominees, like if you looked at what was a part of the social media conversation immediately after the nominations were put out, like people were talking about all the games that were nominated. And it's a fact that your game gets a boost in sales for being nominated in this particular game award show that gets over 100 million people watching it annually on average. Like none of the other award shows get that. And so because it has the higher profile, despite it, having its sketchy, decisions and stuff, a lot of developers want to be nominated here because it just, it's a numbers game. It's about sales. It's about impact. You get nominated for Game of the Year, you're going to get a boost in sales, period. You're going to get a boost in profile. No one knew who Local Thunk was. But now people know who Local Thunk are because of Balatro, And once upon a time, FromSoft was this dark horse, talented but smaller developer that made these niche games that only a certain particular kind of gamer cared for. And then they started getting nominated in this show. I'm not going to say that like this show is a part of or is the source of their success, but I think it helped raise their profile. So I say all that to say that like when Sekiro, which only sold 5 million copies at the year it came out, wins Game of the Year, and then their next game, Elden Ring, comes out and sells 25 million copies and wins Game of the Year, people see that and go, yeah, I hope I get nominated. You don't even have to win. Just nominate me. So that people can see what we made.
Steam promotes that as well. Like you go on the front page of Steam, and like over the game, like for example, Age of Mythology, right? I go onto Steam, big letters, big symbol, nominated for best RTS. Or if you go to Shadow of the Erdtree, there's a big sign saying nominated for Game of the Year. And people are going to go onto Steam, see that, and go, "Oh, I should probably play this. It's nominated for Game of the Year. It must be good." Like Steam pushes that shit when stuff gets nominated. They make sure you know about it.
Yeah, and a lot of times there's a lot of casual gamers out there that just don't catch everything. They don't see everything. And something gets nominated for Game of the Year and it's a quality game. People find out about it. I never even heard of Balatro. Let me go check that out. And a lot, you'll get a lot of people be like, "It's a card game." All right, good. All right, Pat, I'll pass on that. But there are people who will check it out and be like, "Oh, well, actually, this is actually pretty dope." And what's that mean? That's another sale. Well, after the game came out, where typically after the first 90 days, you never recover the same level of sales that you once got from launch to that 90-day mark. This is a second life in sales for these developers and publishers in their games. So this is why this is the game they play, and this is how Jeff gets he's able to generate the kind of stuff that he generates. And I saw something about like he raised the price of putting reveals in the show for this year, so it's even higher now than it was before. It's like it's the video game Super Bowl, and it's just he knows where the value that it has, not because it's good, but because he gets all these people showing their games. He got Xbox showing the reveal of their back then new console there. Like it's when you get these kind of surprises, people are going to make sure to check the show out because they can't wait to see what is going to be shown. And that's really the biggest draw is the game reveals. That's the main reason why people are watching. But again, people are watching. And so, when you start rolling those ads, you're going to start making some money,
And the person who didn't pay full price, he raised the price though. But guess who didn't have to pay that price? Kojima, because Kojima got paid in other ways. Just saying. Put it out there.
Wait a minute.
But
which way you mean by that?
Hey man, you can take whatever you want from my
seen
word.
the way that man smiles when he introduces Kojima?
It's like his eyes light up, don't they? He looks dead the whole show until he talks about Kojima. Then he's like all smiles.
He's teeth, teeth shining.
Call that brother T Grizzly. His teeth all shining. Happy.
All right.
And Ramon, did you give your perspective on what should win?
Oh, just based on what I've seen of these games, because I've only played 2 of them, I would probably just say Metaphor, because I've been hearing so much about the narrative and everything else. I think that Rebirth would probably be a really close second based on everything that I've seen, but Fantasio seems to have the mind share from what I've seen. So I'm gonna go with Metaphor. I think that's probably it.
All righty. Okay, I guess we'll see what happens there. Okay, and then just another topic. So Sony may purchase FromSoftware's parent company, I think it's Kadokawa, in order to keep them being hostily taken over by another company.
Yeah, it was a Korean developer or company publisher. I don't know what they do, but they were apparently trying to do a hostile takeover. And Sony, Kadokawa went to Sony and asked them to make an offer.
All right, so rumor, right? But then they officially confirmed, Kadokawa officially confirmed that Sony made them an offer, but they've yet to make a decision. So Kakao, Kadokawa, and Sony are all giant conglomerates with their hands deep in different businesses. Unlike Kadokawa and Sony, Kakao is from South Korea, and their core business is Kakao Talk, a messaging app that is #1 in revenue for both iOS and Android in their home country. Kakao's scope of business includes online banking, transportation, e-commerce, and of course, entertainment. And Kakao Entertainment makes movies and shows, and yes, they produce K-pop. They also own original webtoon online comic book platform. Kakao does not have a good reputation in spite of its financial success. We're talking about a company whose founder was embroiled in a gambling scandal from when it launched. This year, Kakao is embroiled in a stock manipulation scandal over their successful hostile takeover of K-pop and entertainment company SM Entertainment. So, I mean, they sound like a typical American company. You know what I'm saying?
Right?
Like just real scummy and focused on profit. So if Kadokawa did go to Sony like, hey, how y'all doing? Can you please fucking buy us, to keep them out of the hands of Kakao, who would probably have From Software making fucking mobile games or some shit, then I'm all for it, honestly speaking. Anything to avoid them being owned by that kind of parent corporation, in my opinion.
That Kakao, I didn't notice until I was reading the article, but that's they run a Kakao Talk too, which is gigantic over there.
The thing is,
no, you good.
Thing is, with this, I prefer them to get owned by Sony. It's like nothing changes from software. Like their games are still going to be everywhere. It's it's not from the gaming side that anyone should have concerns. My concern stems from the anime manga side, because Sony is not the greatest custodian of anime, because they're trying to build Crunchyroll as the #1 place in the world for all anime, right? They want Crunchyroll as a one-stop shop. No other services, just everything on that platform. And the reason I say that is because they made the decision to merge Funimation with Crunchyroll.
That
Now,
Funimation app was pretty ass, dude. Honestly speaking, it was pretty bad. You know,
it was. But the issue was, people, when you buy the physical discs, you get a digital copy, right?
That's
you can
true,
put in your
you're right,
library
yeah.
and keep forever. Now, the thing is, when they merged Funimation with Crunchyroll and migrated the accounts, all those digital copies you had in your library, poof, gone forever.
Okay, yeah, that's valid because I have the DVD version of Hellsing Ultimate. So yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm hearing you. I'm listening.
So if you had your library, let's say you lost some of your physical collection, moving house or something, and you don't know where it is, and you're like, don't worry, I got my digital copies on Funimation. You just lost all of that, so you need to hope you have your physical media. Otherwise, well, you just lost your entire library. See you later. Good night, sayonara. Off you go to Crunchyroll, and they also, the legacy subscribers from Funimation who are already subscribed to it, they were paying $50 a year. In Crunchyroll, they now have to pay $100 for the year. So it doubled their subscription just for being merged into Crunchyroll. So Sony's a bit shaky on that, but I prefer it doing that instead of a hostile takeover. I just don't think Sony's that good of a manager of anime. But yeah, personal opinion.
If I agree, if like they were trying to stave off a hostile takeover, I would prefer a company that is basically a gaming publisher be owned by someone who has some experience in publishing games, and not like a company that basically has the reputation of what we just spoke about. The anime side of things, it wouldn't surprise me if a regulator stepped in and told Sony they would have to divest some of their ownership and maybe the distribution in order to make this work, or divest the aspects of Kadokawa that is about anime to make this work. That wouldn't surprise me. But I don't know. I kind of feel like this isn't going to happen anyway, because typically when there is a acquisition, we never hear about it. We hear about it when it's done and they've already agreed to terms, and that's when we hear about what's going on. Whenever we hear about a company trying to acquire another company and the deal wasn't done yet, typically what ends up happening is it falls apart. And so if it wouldn't surprise me if the whole thing was just, hey, look, we need you to put a bid out, raise our profile a bit. We're gonna leak it. We're gonna let everyone else know that we are potentially open for business, and then we'll get some more bids. And maybe this Korean company will realize they've been priced out of the market and they'll back off. I mean, that wouldn't surprise me at all. But yeah, I just think it'll fall apart, because when the whole Bethesda thing happened, it was an announcement. Microsoft owns Bethesda. When ABK happened, it was an announcement. They own ABK. Bungie, the weird thing with Bungie is we heard that Microsoft was trying to acquire Bungie, and that fell apart. But when Sony bought them, we heard nothing. So if it's really going well, you hear nothing. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So
I think the only exception I've seen was when there was rumors that Sony PlayStation was buying Bluepoint, and then Bluepoint denied it, but then it turned out to be true, and now
they actually leaked it themselves by accident. If you recall, they put out when they acquired Housemarque, they put out the wrong graphic. They put out.
I remember that. I thought it happened before that, though. Okay, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So I think a lot of people were just speculating, but it was nothing like official that they were talking. It was a lot of speculation. But then, it was pretty much confirmed when they put out the wrong graphic. Sony and Bluepoint together, and it came directly from Sony. People were just like, "Yeah, okay." But clearly, that's in the works. It's just not, the deal's not done yet.
Well, I think the best case scenario is the one that you just said, where they're just trying to drive the price up, and then eventually it falls apart because, I'd like to see Kadokawa along with FromSoft stay independent. But worst case scenario, if they really do need this purchase to happen, then I would obviously rather Sony buy them than the alternative. And when they're not trying to make purchases for multiplayer games, PlayStation has a good eye for buying single players studios it's studios that specialize in single player narrative driven and letting them do their thing. So I think that if that happens, at least FromSoft would be in good hands. It would just suck because very likely future FromSoft games will be exclusive, and it just kind of sucks that a platform that is used to playing their games possibly might not. But all of that's better than what the alternative could be if this hostile takeover was to happen.
Yeah.
Well, if this happens, do you guys think Sony's going to make their games exclusive?
Absolutely not. No.
Absolutely, they are.
Yeah.
No, they're not.
Yes, they
are.
Yes, they will. Yes, they will.
The thing is, Elden Ring 2 got its success because it was everywhere. What I can see Sony doing is maybe bringing back Bloodborne or making a Bloodborne 2 because they own that IP.
Bloodborne doesn't need a sequel. It needs a remake, okay?
Well, okay. Either way, they can go to FromSoft and say, "Yo, can you do this Bloodborne shit real quick?" And then they might even make a sequel to it. I just don't see, with the success of Elden Ring, if you just made it exclusive for like a year,
PlayStation,
you just lost out on a ton of sales.
PlayStation is not going to put a game on their direct competitor, no matter how much Xbox tries to pretend that they're not. As long as there is an Xbox console platform, PlayStation sees them as a direct competitor, and they are not. I would be highly surprised if they voluntarily did that. Now, PC, I think it'll go status quo, staggered releases, but on Xbox, I think that I would be highly surprised if that happened.
The reason I say that is because people said the same thing might happen with Bungie, and I think FromSoftware would probably get you can acquire us, but our games are going everywhere. Because I don't think they'll tell Miyazaki, "Oh, by the way, you're now exclusive to PlayStation."
Well, if they're trying to prevent a hostile takeover and they really need this to happen, beggars can't be choosers either.
True, but also I just don't think it's weird. I can see it going both ways, but after the success of Elden Ring, I just can't see them because they've done the best they've ever done. And why would you want to then go back on your recent success?
Because they don't care about giving those games to Xbox. Just straight up. They do not care. If you want Elden Ring 2, sounds like you either need to go buy or build a PC or buy a PlayStation. Because if they get FromSoftware, that's exactly the kind of energy they're going to be on. When it came to Bungie put a stipulation in where, if this acquisition happens, you got, our games have to remain multi-platform. What happened with that little Gummy Bears game we found out that they making?
Oh, Marathon?
They took the team. No, not Marathon. They took the team that was making an unannounced. I call it Gummy Bears because the characters look like gummy bears, but it's like some kind of live service game that Bungie was making.
Gummy Bears,
yeah. They took the team, split them away from Bungie, made them their own studio. Hey, no stipulation that this gotta be multi-platform now. They will find a way, and it's just I find it funny. Not going at you, Singer, but I just like when people think that like it's going to be different, but it's just these are the same. They took Stellar Blade, that was a multi-platform game, gave Shift Up the resources they needed, game was exclusive to PlayStation.
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, it doesn't affect me either way because I'll get to play it day one regardless. But unlike Stellar Blade, where it's kind of this smaller, I just think FromSoft probably has the clout to say, "Yo, we want Elden Ring 2 to be everywhere," and I think they'd go with it because current Sony is not the Sony of yesteryear. Like this current Sony is going in a new direction. Like the closed garden walls are starting to break slightly.
Really?
Well, I mean, if you
Give
told
me an
me God of
example.
War would
Give me an example.
games come into PC, do you think Sony of PS4 gen would have done that? Not a chance in hell.
They had begun to plan
before
it during
Totoki
PS4
before Totoki took over, they were already putting their games on PC.
Right. So
Before
that's
Sean
the new
Layden
direction.
left, they were putting their games on PC.
and that was his plan to go the direction they've gone now. And furthermore, as far as the staggered PC release, Stellar Blade was originally supposed to come out on PC day one along with PlayStation, and Sony stepped in and was like, "Yeah, let's kick that can down the road. We'll give you the resources. You release with us first."
If it's a single player game with zero multiplayer, it will release first on PlayStation and then go to PC. And if it makes sense, like a Horizon Lego, they'll put it on the Nintendo Switch. But guess where they seem to just have a complete blind spot? They can't see the color green. They just it's like that color doesn't exist in their vision. They don't know what green is. And so therefore they don't put any of their games on Xbox unless you have a publisher like MLB that says, "Hey, look, we know you have an entire studio of hundreds of developers that make this game annually for us, but we want this game everywhere. And we want that Game Pass back. And so here's your choices. You could shut down your studio and then, lose out on a bunch of talent and lose out on money, or you could just port this game over to Xbox. What do you want to do?"
I see them doing PC and PlayStation if they
because
for Elden Ring. I don't know. I don't think for any other title though.
I think for all of them, because if they
just
release, if they just release purely on PlayStation, then port to PC later, they are gonna lose so much fucking money.
That's what they're doing now.
That's what they're doing now.
I just can't imagine them doing it with all the titles. Like I said, Elden Ring would make sense, but like they have no issues paying From Software for exclusive titles. Demon Souls, Bloodborne, like it's kind of their thing. So I would not imagine that they would put any future From Software title on any other platform. Like they have precedent not to for that company outside of Elden Ring.
But I think they would. They've garnered a huge fan base on PC, and they make like Sekiro did really, really well there. Like all their games have done really, really well, and Elden Ring did gangbusters. So I just don't think they would skip PC day one. They'd probably skip Xbox. I just don't see them skipping PC day one.
I can see them skipping PC day one for other From Software titles. Maybe not Elden Ring.
So. Yeah, like if it has
it's already established.
I've never played Sekiro, but Sekiro doesn't have any multiplayer in it, right?
It does not, no.
Okay, so if they did a Sekiro 2 and it still didn't have any multiplayer in it, and they own From Software, that would be on PlayStation first, and then it will come out on PC like a year later.
Well, actually, no.
Elden Ring 2 that has multiplayer, or Dark Souls 4 that would have multiplayer, those games would be on both because they have multiplayer.
I don't think they're doing a Dark Souls 4. Actually, yeah, I don't think they're ever going back to Dark Souls now that they have.
Yeah, I'm just using an example, just based off of their prior, their history with the title and how they designed it. That if
Bloodborne
it has
multiplayer too, so
yeah.
So does Demon Souls.
Yeah, if they ever finally do a Bloodborne remake, I think that would launch on PC day one.
And would, because I'd be getting it on both fucking platforms, as I should. Shout out to my boy Jay Barry saying, "What a bot." Oops, I mean Luca. Hope all is well and you get yourself a PS5 Pro so you can be a real gamer. Side eye, side eye, side eye. Appreciate you, my boy. You know I don't play games. You know,
Bari is the most unbiased gamer out there.
unbiased.
Yeah, I said that. I said it like that on
Okay.
purpose because
Okay.
I watched one of his streams the other day,
Yeah,
and he kept saying he was doing his
Unbiased.
game of the year nominees. He kept saying unbiased, but he got that lisp, so it was really saying unbiased. But I was just like, but that makes sense because his picks were all biased as hell. So shout out to Bari.
Also, Luca,
Shout
I
out
have
to
to
Jay Barry.
I have a counterpoint for you. Thing is, Sony owns Demon Souls and Bloodborne, the IP, whereas like Dark Souls is owned by Bandai Namco.
Yeah.
From Software does have Sekiro and Elden Ring,
Mhm.
so it makes sense that Demon Souls and Bloodborne will be exclusive because Sony owns those IP. That's Sony owned. So they would own Elden Ring and they would own Sekiro for sure, but they
Okay.
wouldn't own Dark Souls regardless. So
Okay,
if
they're
they
not
make a
doing
new,
another they're not doing another Dark Souls.
they might do. Well, I mean, they're not doing
I
another
would be
Bloodborne either.
shocked. And they should not do another Bloodborne. They should not do another Dark Souls, and they should not do another Bloodborne. Bloodborne in itself is a contained story that works as Bloodborne. Dark Souls 2, even though Miyazaki-san was not front running it, even though it has some positives, it also has a lot of negatives as well. And so does Dark Souls 3 in regards to the story. Dark Souls 3 falls apart story-wise in a lot of ways as well. So they do not need to do a Dark Souls 4. They're not going to do a Dark Souls 4. I would be shocked if they did a Dark Souls 4. They have Elden Ring. They can focus on expanding the Elden Ring IP. So you're talking about like, well, they own these other IP. If Sony were to own Kadokawa and therefore own From Software, they would own any of their future IP and future ideas they'd come out with. So it's like they're not going to do a Sekiro 2. I'd be shocked. That's a contained story as well. They didn't even do DLC for it. Why? Contained story. Did not need a DLC. Bloodborne, even though it did have a DLC, contained story. Doesn't need any further explanation. Does not need a sequel. They're not going to do a Dark Souls 4. And if they do an Elden Ring 2, I believe it will be on PC day one. It'd be on PlayStation platforms day one. I don't think it would go to Xbox. But if it did go to Xbox, I'd be okay with that as well. I feel like it would also make sense. But given Sony's history and precedent, it's just there's no reason for them to put any other games and other IPs under From Software on Xbox. It just wouldn't make any sense. Like, yeah, like they're not doing a Bloodborne 2, they're not doing a Sekiro 2, and they're not doing a Dark Souls 4. Like, I just can't fathom them doing that. I feel like they're going to continue on with the Elden Ring story with Elden Ring 2, and then they're going to do another title. They're going to create a new IP after this.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So I just think Elden Ring 2 might just be everywhere because of the success of the first one, and then the new IP they'll make exclusive, right? Because there's no precedent for it. So, I mean, I could see it both ways. I'm not mad because I'd get it day one on PC anyway, so I ain't tripping.
No, I don't think that you're mad or tripping. I just think that the concept of Sony putting anything on Xbox is completely baffling. They've been so anti doing that.
It is, but who knows?
I mean,
Stranger things
Death
have
Stranding is only over there because they no longer own the IP.
And the thing is, when you're PlayStation and your primary and your direct competitor is the trust fund child of $1 trillion company, you have to be cutthroat because you give them an open door and you could very well be in trouble. So I mean, I wouldn't, and I'm not saying that because I don't like Xbox or blah blah blah. Like I wouldn't, because this is a David and Goliath type scenario, and I don't see them helping out their biggest competitor in that way.
Yeah. Now, if I'm wrong about Dark Souls 4 and Sekiro 2 and Bloodborne 2, we can of course revisit this conversation, but I don't think I am. So we'll see. Yeah. Yeah, they do not need to do a Dark Souls like ever again, actually. Just absolutely not. They don't need to do another Bloodborne. I'm just really thinking about it. I'm like, I just can't fathom them going backwards when they can just go forward. And their new IP tends to just do well. They tend to innovate with new IP, Bloodborne and Sekiro and Elden Ring are all very excellent. And the fact that they were able to spin off from Dark Souls, spin off from Demon Souls is very impressive. So yeah, I just whatever happens, bitch. I'll be playing their games regardless. That's my favorite developer. So okay, let me get these channel member topics and we can skedaddle and let you guys out of here. So shout out to Emar bin Israel. Slight spoilers for Dragon Age the Veilguard's ending. Okay. Finally beat Dragon Age. Ending was cool. Best moments of the entire game. Wished that was for the majority of it. They did a decent job walking on the steps of Mass Effect 2's last mission. This game to me is if someone else played Dragon Age and then decided to make a Dragon Age game, not BioWare. David Gator would have executed this much better, facts, and still have the things that anti-woke groups hate and woke folks love and are pandered to. The secret is both intriguing and a what the fuck moment. To know these okay, spoilers, okay? Spoilers. All right. So he's talking about the executors. To know these secret groups guided indirectly the events in the other games. Retcons a lot, and not in a great way. Logain was his own character with flaws and all. Bertrand as well. To know that they are not the nuanced villains we thought they were kind of kills their character arcs. I'll give it a 7, and I'll say BioWare is kind of back. And I agree with you 100% about the
I do as well.
executors. Like, what I saw that secret ending and I was like, what the fuck, dude? And mind you, I saw the secret ending after I beat the game. Somebody came into my comment section saying, did you see the secret ending? I was like, no, I didn't. I went to watch the video and I was like, oh, what the fuck is this? What is this?
Yeah, I gotta run, Luca, but I just want to say real quick, I agree with Amar's message 1000%. I agree with you. They need to basically apologize and pretend like that secret ending never existed. And considering how a large portion of the directors as well as the lead narrative guy David Gator are not involved in this whatsoever, I think it's kind of disrespectful to throw out an insinuation that everything that happened in the previous games, all the motivations of all the antagonists was all, led by some stupid nonsense that we just came up. It's a retcon that's a bad retcon to begin with. I don't like it. I think it sucks. I think the fact they even put this in the game and that nobody pushed back on it got me looking at them like, is this some toxic positivity nonsense that no one said this is stupid? Like when you have books out on that David Gator wrote on Dragon Age, and he goes into detail on Logain, how much he hates Orlais and the Orlesians. That's all the justification you need for Logain doing the things that he did in Dragon Age Origins. To say that it was some kind of influence that like, what? It's stupid. It's stupid, it's dumb, it's poor storytelling, which, not to go too deep into it, but the uneven writing in this game makes them doing something like this not a surprise to me. It has its moments where there are good writing, and it has some moments where it seems like all of them got their writing chops on Nick Jr. because they write like some really ABC 1, 2, 3 kind of garbage that like I would see with my kids when they were younger watching freaking Yo Gabba Gabba. Learn how to write better. Stop this foolishness. And they need to apologize to the whole Dragon Age community and just say, hey, this whole secret ending thing, that was just kind of like a little fun optional thing. It's not canon. All right.
Alrighty. See you later, man.
All right, later.
All right. Shout out to Iman saying, who's been a member for 31 months, saying hit the like button, scum lords. Appreciate you, my boy. But yeah, no, they need to like retcon the retcon. Okay, that shit is disgusting. But anyway, shout out to Corey with the channel member topic saying, my family usually has a potluck for Turkey Day, but not everyone has family near. But how do you celebrate Thanksgiving, and have you ever side-eyed a family member friend dish? Like, what the fuck is this? No, typically my family members, my grandpa usually cooks. And the food is usually always good, right? Like he'll do greens and turkey or ham, mashed potatoes, um, oh my god, black eyed peas, macaroni and my mom would make the macaroni and cheese. Usually the food's pretty good, and then we have sweet potato pie, right? Um, I've never had like a Friendsgiving or a Thanksgiving where the food was like just bad. And but this year I will not be going anywhere for Thanksgiving. I'll just be staying at home by my lonesome. So yeah. What about you guys? Well, Singer is European. Ramon is Canadian. Do Canadians have Thanksgiving? Do Europeans
No,
have
we
Thanksgiving?
we
Well,
don't. No, we don't.
Okay.
I'm not a Canadian yet. I just live here, but
Oh, okay.
what do you call it? Thanksgiving is in October up here. But the actual celebrating of it and the food and everything else is largely the same. So it's yeah, it's the same. It just for me it's just weird because it's in October. So then when Thanksgiving actually does roll around, it's like any other day up here. And then I forget, and then everybody's like, "Oh, happy Thanksgiving," and I'm like, "What do you?" Oh, yeah, that's right. So
I mean, to be fair, it makes sense we don't have Thanksgiving because what kind of thanks are we gotta be given? I mean,
Well, that's
kind
what
of
I'm
makes
asking.
sense.
Like, what is
In the
Canada's
history of,
Thanksgiving about?
I don't know. What is kind of like over here? It makes sense because like kind of we did a whole bunch of shit. Like our history is very colorful.
well,
So
So is
yeah, I
ours.
mean,
it's
well,
probably
not as
similar.
colorful as us.
I think it's probably a similar situation up here as down there. I think maybe they got here first before they went down south to finish up. So
Oh, I see.
Gregor.
that's probably why it's in October up here.
A similar situation with the rapist, disease spreading colonizer coming through.
Pretty
Yeah,
much.
I believe it. I definitely believe it. Right. Um. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Like, but like, what is the propagandized version of Thanksgiving for Canada? I should ask one of my Canadian friends.
Well, it's I mean, a lot more people are recognizing everything that happens. I mean, there's a radio station that has a whole segment called "Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women," and it talks about, how Indigenous women are, you know, more frequently kidnapped and raped and murdered, and things like that. And there's a lot more recognition and efforts to educate on everything that's happened to indigenous people up here. So um the native population up here is probably larger. Like I think I'd only met one indigenous person the whole time I lived in the States. Up here, like I have a handful of indigenous friends, and the population is a lot larger. um so the whatever illusions are had, they're being broken down, and a lot more people are recognizing, and it's progress is being made. It's never fast, but it's being made.
Oh, that's good. Okay. Um. Yeah, I don't think Umbra's here. So let's move on.
Yeah, I'm here. But yeah, I don't have anything to add really to that.
Do y'all eat anything different on Canadian Thanksgiving?
No, it's largely the same. I mean, yeah, turkey, stuffing, cranberries, that type of stuff. And then black folks, we put the extra spin on it that we do, like macaroni and cheese. And um greens are a little harder to come by up here. um I'm not sure, like I don't know if any of the few black friends I have here, and I say few because on this side of Canada, there's not as many of us in Vancouver as say Toronto. So um probably not. Like when I go to the grocery store, I think I only see one or two of the three types of greens. Um so I'm not sure if that's a thing, but yeah, the food's pretty much the same.
What
This,
about like the
so
desserts?
um
That one I'm not sure about because, well, my family, my grandmother used to make a Christmas cake with the food coloring of the different Christmas colors, like the red, yellow, green, and so forth. And then my mom would make like sweet potato pie and things like that, and that everybody would tear up immediately. Um, I don't know how desserts are done here. Probably the same. I mean, honestly, Canada is kind of like a mix between the UK and the US anyway. So a lot of, even though there are things that are different up here, there are a lot of things that are the same. So I would wager that it's probably around the same. I mean, people eat apple pie and stuff like that, you know,
Really?
cobbler and everything. So yeah, it's probably largely the same.
Okay. How's the food over there in general? Like, is it the same? Like overall, or just for Thanksgiving?
It's overall, it's about the same. I mean, you have diverse population of people. Like, we have a lot of Australians up here because a lot of times they come up here for like the university exchange thing and work visas and stuff like that, as well as from Europe. So you get a lot of uh, you know foreign influence on cuisine from like Europe and uh, Australia and whatnot. So but like people like born and raised in Canada, the food is largely the same. I mean, you have the influences like say from Quebec with poutine and things like that. So you have the different flavor, but again, that's like there's a lot of European influence. But like you come up here and you even the Canadian chains restaurants, the food is like what is the same style of what you would get in the States. Like one of the most popular places up here is called Cactus Club, and they serve the same stuff. It's a Western restaurant. They serve, calamari and steak and fish and, XYZ. So um the only time you're gonna get different types of food is when you go to the specific different types of places like, donair shops. And I know they have those in the States too, but a lot of the donair places up here are amazing because, there's a large population, you know, of your Middle Eastern as well as like the Indian cuisine up here is really good because there's a large East Indian population and so forth. So you get those specific influences, and that's really cool. But outside of the specific influences, when you start going like just regular Western food, it's pretty much the same.
Okay. Interesting.
I can imagine y'all know, like, hey, pass some of the turkey, eh? Or
Yeah, well, the once you start venturing further east, the accents start to change and get deeper. Like
can I get some of that
Newfoundland.
potato salad? What are you talking about?
Mounties walking by in the snow.
Yeah. Hey, guy. Buddy.
All right. Okay, so last topic. No Envy wants to talk about how Kendrick Lamar dropped a surprise album. Yes, it was actually very good. I really enjoyed it. My favorite songs from the album are Whacked Out Murals, Man at the Garden, Reincarnated, and GNX. Just really
Luca, I'm
good.
sorry.
Really.
Something just came up. I gotta run.
All right, man. Thanks for coming through. Have a good night.
All right, thanks for having me. Have a good night, everybody.
Later, man.
Good night, man.
Okay, so yeah, and those are my favorite songs from the album. I feel like after, especially like before, of course he had the sauce before, but especially after this beef with Drake, and then basically him proving like it is just big him. He could just really do whatever he wants, and as long as the quality of the music stays consistent, people are going to hail him as like the best rapper of our age currently.
Yeah, definitely. And like Kendrick he's not only riding off that success, the success of that beef, which was pretty historic to give them credit. I mean, him and Drake, I mean, that was big. I mean, especially the times we're in. Like if we'd had internet and everything the way it is now, when Pac and Biggie were going at it, maybe they would have been that too. I think still to us as hip hop heads, they probably are that, but like you can't deny how big this was. So Kendrick is still coasting off of that. You got some people like, oh, Kendrick is only doing good because Drake. It's like, you know that he was a multi-million selling artist well before that, right? like some people just, I don't know. But yeah, he just pulled this out of nowhere. Just all of a sudden, here you go. Here's an album. It's crazy how he kind of goes against the grain a lot when it comes to this type of stuff. And I think this is the first album for him, but under his own banner, the PG Lang. So he's free now of TDE when it comes to that. So like this is his own first album outside of that. And the rumor is that this is only part one. That he's going to do and drop another album allegedly. And the reason why they thought that, I guess said so, is for two reasons. One, there was a snippet, if you saw it, when he dropped an announcement drop, and it had that beat in there that isn't in this, or that song that played rather, that wasn't in the tracks. That's not inside of this GNX. Also, too, what's his name? DJ Head posted something called, what did he say? MTC or something like that. He posted. And somebody asked him, like, wait, what are you saying? Like, it's another one? And he put like the emoji eyes looking like, So like there's speculation that he's going to drop another one possibly. So I'm interested in seeing how he's going to tackle this. But as far as like for this, great album. I've listened to it about 4 times, I would say. Yeah. And Whacked Out Murals, excellent. Squabble Up, I loved. I loved the only thing that really I didn't care for, oddly enough, is the title track, GNX. And maybe Man at the Garden. Maybe. I don't even, yeah, maybe Man at the Garden. I didn't dislike much, if anything. I think GNX was right, the only one, but that's only like a minute long. So it's like whatever. But yeah, I loved it a lot. The Hard Part 6 was dope too. I'm a big fan of the SWV. So using that rain and oh, excuse me, with your heart, rather should I say use your heart. Use your heart and not your eye. I loved it. I just thought that was really dope. It was also breaking down his situation with TDE. Just really dope. TV off. And that's why, of course, my name is the way it is here, because that was so dope. And Kendrick has this weird thing that he does, that he switches, and his producers must be working overtime. And I think he had Soundwave that did most of the.
You see that RDC?
I did.
Yeah.
That was funny as hell. But like he does this weird thing where he switches the beat a lot. If you have noticed, in his he does he has this kind of build up, and then it builds to this crescendo, then it changes up on you. He does that a lot, I've noticed lately in this album, maybe even the last. And the TV Off is probably my favorite on this whole album, is TV Off. So yeah, I love it. I think he did a great job. I know he's selling well, exception. I'm gonna buy it myself just to buy it, even though I can stream it for free.
Yeah. No, I mean, I feel like that's very valid, like wanting to support the artists where you really vibe with their music. I definitely understand that as well. But yeah, I thought it was good. I really enjoyed it. And overall, it's just like one of those things where it's showing, like, again, like he makes good music outside of the beef with Drake, you know what I'm saying? So,
Absolutely.
and Singer plans on listening to it later. All right. But oh, what's up, Meds? Haven't listened live in a minute. Glad to be here. It's good to see you, buddy. I hope you're doing well. Replay value is lacking. I think it depends, because like Umbra listened to it 4 times, so I definitely think it depends on what you're looking for when it comes to Kendrick songs, I suppose you could say, right? But yeah.
I would say that too. And also too, I think it's like kind of a love letter to the West Coast, right? He has a very super heavy West Coast sound to it. Featuring a lot of heavy, not heavy, but a lot of not even unknown West Coast artists. So it's very clear his intentions is to kind of give this as a, as a love letter to them, in my opinion. And I think he does just that.
I like this album more than Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. I think that thematically, Kendrick had a very specific story he wanted to tell with that album, but I feel like this album's more of a bop. You know, I didn't re-listen to Mr.
Yep.
Morale. I listened to it maybe like once or twice just so I could understand, and then I was like, all right, and I just turned that shit off and never turned it back on again. Right. So, like I understand what you're saying, Dwayne, saying the album felt more responsive. It definitely maybe it felt that way because he was responding to things, you know, and like he was addressing certain things. You know what I'm saying? Like especially with the Lil Wayne situation, Snoop dropping Tailor Made and promoting that. Also, how Nas was the only one who congratulated him. Like, it definitely felt more responsive because it was more responsive. He was responding to how people treated him throughout the beef. So I definitely understand what you're saying. And perhaps I got to listen to it again because especially compared to Mr. Morale had a more cohesive story compared to this. But I do prefer this over Mr. Morale personally. But I
I
understand
would,
what you're
yeah,
saying, Dwayne.
I would
What?
agree. I think you said that very well. Personally, he's responding because he's responding. You know, he has to address some of those things. Still, he's still
Mhm.
definitely clearly on that energy. You can see how he's talking in it, where he's like F everybody basically. Still, he's not
Including my grandma.
including. That was funny. He
Yeah.
said, we say I cut my grandma off if she disagreed with me or something like that. Well, against me or something. I forgot how he said it, but no, that was hilarious. But yeah, this was a responsive album in general. It wasn't very thematic, and it's like a bop. Like even like troubleshoot gaming, you're saying it's definitely closer to Damn than anything else. It's just something like a bop, and I think that's what he was going for. And you know, he does have some of the songs for where he gives a deeper, you know, because Kendrick he'll do that. He'll throw whatever song out there, but it has deeper meaning. And one of them, I forget what is that song. Well, I think it's Reincarnated. He speaks in like three different he speaks for three different people. I think he's one of them, but I know one is I think it's Billie Holiday, and the other is somebody else. I can't remember right now. And so he speaks from different perspectives, dealing with them and their life, and he kind of uh, you know, puts it all together. It's just really clever. So he has that too, but this is clearly less thematic than anything else he's ever done, as far as especially coming from like you said, Mr. Morale.
Yes. Alrighty. Okay. And then Med says, yeah, I agree. Luca Steppers was good, but not re-listenable. This one was more of an everyday bop like Damn was. Agreed, right? Like Damn was great. So I don't know. Like I said, I like Kendrick. He's not like my top. I mean, okay, listen, to clarify, I'm not someone who is big on rap personally. Like I I do enjoy rap significantly. I do enjoy it, but I'm not someone who's like super entrenched in the culture in so far as to say like I would be aware of certain things in regards to like Kendrick as a person, Drake as a person. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like
Yeah,
I'm more of a mainstream. I listen to more mainstream rap, but only like really specific mainstream rap because I don't like mumble rappers. Like I know that's not really a thing anymore, but like I guess I'm not saying these guys are mumble rappers. I'm just gonna give examples of like more so mainstream rappers like Lil Durk, Lil Yachty, like all those guys. I've not listened to any of their music. So more so like my favorite rapper is JID because of his lyricism.
nice.
His he's very, very, very talented. He's very talented, right? So he's my favorite rapper. And I like people who are very talented in their craft. And then like I enjoy like I will sit and I will listen to albums from rappers where it's like, okay, this new album just dropped. I'm like, all right, cool. This is a well established artist. I will sit down and I'll listen to them, right? But I'm not like a super Kendrick fan or anything like that.
Yeah,
Or yeah, but I will sit and listen to their albums as they come out just so I can get like an idea of like what their sound is, what story they may be telling, what their vision is, like that kind of thing, right? So I like all kinds of music, but like I'm not in the rap culture. So if like I wouldn't be able to take part in certain discussions, but I can take part in I say more so mainstream on one certain side, I suppose you can say, because like I'm, it's not an age thing. I'll listen to anything as long as it sounds good for me, but I just don't see personally don't have the appeal of some of the younger rappers personally. And I more so stick with like my age range and then like some Gen Xers, right? For my musical taste.
Yeah, understandable.
Shout out to Lil Wayne though, he was such a fantastic rap, and he's still a very good rapper, don't get me wrong. He's had some amazing features as well. But like like he's tripping, like he's tripping. You know what I'm saying? Like he's just doing too much. And
He
it's
is.
seeing it's very like his behavior, Nicki Minaj's behavior, and Drake's behavior has all been very embarrassing for me as someone who used to be a big fan of Lil Wayne growing up, Young Money growing up. Like I like, in high school and middle school, more so in high school, they were just like they were the thing, you know what I'm saying? And now
Yeah.
it's just like they're just older and nuts, you know? I mean, Nikki, more so, Nikki on her little coked out rants and stuff. And then, like she's fucking lost her mind, dude. It's bad if she's ever had it. Like she's still the best female rapper like ever, in my opinion.
True.
But like she's fucking nuts, dude. She's crazy. Drake's over here fighting, you know, phoebophile allegations, and then Lil Wayne is just like fucking messed up with the drugs, man. So it's really sad to see like some rappers who I thoroughly enjoyed listening to growing up like embarrass themselves on social media. They're too damn old to be on social media like this. It's very embarrassing. It's very strange,
It is. It's very strange. I mean, Drake has his own weird things, that little duck lips and stuff. He kills me with all that. It's like, brother.
He's just a silly, goofy guy.
Yeah, right. Wayne right here had been tripping because he was talking with this weird sense of entitlement. Like like when he's talking about the Super Bowl was taken from him. Like, brother, they didn't offer you anything. What are you talking about? Like, this is weird. Just because it's in your city or whatever doesn't mean, or city you come from rather, doesn't mean that you were destined to get it. No, that's just not what it was. And people try to argue that, well, it is in New Orleans, and yeah, but that, like, if you look at the track record of it, in most cases, that's just not the case for any artist that have performed. They just perform wherever it's going to be at. And where he was acting so shady about it, he was crying on podcasts and stuff. I was like, what are you crying for? Like, I get it, it's big for you, whatever, because I know he's a big sports fan and everything like that, right? I know he's been on ESPN and all that, talking about football and everything. But that crying and everything like that, and that sense of entitlement was so weird. And Kendrick, by the way, addresses it in the album, and he points out that he felt he must have let Lil Wayne down because he didn't congratulate him. He made it about him instead.
And it's very embarrassing.
It's very embarrassing. And then he tried to, on top of that, after the album came out, he probably either heard word, or I don't know if he listened to the album, but he heard word about it, and then he made a little tweet trying to basically saying like, hey, don't wake up the sleeping giant.
Don't wake up the sleeping giant. I'm like, oh my Lord, have mercy, dude. Like I said, Lil Wayne is still like excellent as a rapper.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of like, it's just embarrassing to see, because I feel like it's like, damn, like Lotto says, get in the booth, bitch. Like if you're gonna say something, just say it in the booth. Don't say it on social media. It's embarrassing. And Kendrick didn't even diss him. He was just like, damn, I thought you'd be happy for me, but
right. It's not even a diss. Like, why you take that and then turn it
diss.
into that? Yeah. So unnecessary. And then people were trying to argue me down. You should see the replies. I was going back and forth with people all day. They were like,
it's baffling to me that people even interpret it as a diss when it's like inherently not. Inherently not. He didn't even say anything about Wayne being fucking leaned out or high like he did with Snoop Dogg. Snoopy's like, that shit might have better than the fucking edibles for him to be edibles like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So true.
And then Snoop just took it in stride. He's like, yeah, man, it was the edibles. My bad.
Edibles. I didn't share out his album. Exactly. And that's the thing. Like, Like I didn't like that he took that and was trying to make it a beef. And again, I was going back and forth with people all day. They were like, I said Kendrick would dice him up in a battle. And I mean that because people have this weird thought that because Wayne is a legend, and he is, and he's an all-time great, he is, and he's probably a goat to many for sure. And he's put out hits after hits after hits for sure. He's a hit maker. That does not translate into him being a battle rapper. He is not that. That is not his forte. And I think people confuse and they're conflating the two. If you listen to any beefs he's ever got into it with, what was that one he had with Pusha T? It was garbage. He is not that guy for that. So I don't know why people think that. And I guess because of the hit. So yeah, well, he hit Lollipop, so he must be good. He got to be able to take on somebody in the battle. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. That I'm shit, and all that toilet and all that other stuff ain't gonna work in a straight battle. It's just not happening. Kendrick is battle tested. He's been doing that for a long time. He's going into the game, battling people growing up. So like his idol is Eminem. That's his thing. Not to say that's his main forte, but he's battle tested when it comes to that. Somebody mentioned one of my tweets. Well, I don't know, man. I think that's crazy. What about like Nas and M? Just because they older, blah blah. Yeah, Nas and M both were battle tested. That's their thing. They could probably go head to head with Kendrick. Sure. Even now, sure, they could probably do that.
They wouldn't need to because they know better than to like start an argument. The thing with
True.
Eminem especially, Eminem is not he's not what's the word? He's not concerned with starting beef with someone like Kendrick over nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Because
agreed.
Kendrick does not threaten Eminem. Eminem, and regardless, listen, I'm a little Eminem stan. You know what I'm saying? I love Eminem's music. He's had some he's had some he's had some questionable songs. Don't get me wrong, right? But like Eminem, when it comes to his ability as a technical rapper, his lyricism, like his creativity when it comes to the things that, like what do you think? I'm like a RAPER. I got so many SAs. And then he says that thing. He didn't leave out the P. Did he? I mean, that's fucking crazy. That is insane.
And then he
Insane.
also goes on to obviously R&P, Biggie and Pac. But I don't want to get a beef with him because he might put a hit on me. Keefy D, get him. And I'm like,
fucking
yo, this
fire,
yeah. And also
Mhm.
the song with Fuel and JID, but he wouldn't anyway have any beef with K Dot because K Dot is under Dre and in Aftermath, and Aftermath is Dre, Eminem's in that same camp, so Snoop. So it's like they would never have a problem anyway. They're all under the same umbrella and they're a tight knit group. I mean, so it's like they would never have a problem anyway. Plus, Eminem's so older now, he just doesn't give a fuck. Like, no one's threatening what he's got.
I
And no
mean,
one's threatening that.
he
Nas
definitely
either.
responds if people like go at him. He'll respond.
Oh yeah, he'll
in like
respond.
songs, right? But he's
Mhm.
like, like he does it in such a way where it's like, man, he wins. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even know why anybody bothers to attack him. So Kendrick is not going to randomly attack Eminem, and Eminem's not going to randomly attack Kendrick.
Nope.
And then Kendrick
Facts.
also said
Yeah.
something about Nas, where he was like, Nas was the only one who congratulated me. That like he just has no reason to go back and forth with them. But people, it's like, again, Lil Wayne is an excellent rapper, but it's just kind of like, man, like, get off social media, relax, man. Like,
Mhm.
Kendrick is not personally attacking you. It doesn't. I'm telling you, fucking Drake and Nicki are gassing him up for no
100%.
to spur on their own fucking beefs, dude. It's very
Yep.
very vile behavior on their part, I would say. And
Mhm.
yeah, overall, like, great. I thought it was an album that has more replay value, in my opinion, than Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, though that album is more cohesive in terms of storytelling. I think when it comes to music, sometimes it's like they have different ideas of what they want to put forward, I suppose you can say. And for me personally, again, my favorite rapper is JID. I think he is the best rapper, in my opinion, of this generation, to be honest. But he's not super well known. You know, he's still not well established.
He is now. I mean, kind of after the Fuel song.
He's yeah, he's bigger for sure. Fuel and then also Arcane. Also being under J. Cole, I understand, but he's still like, if I were to ask like some random person, you know who JID is, they probably wouldn't know. But if I were to be like, you know who Kendrick Lamar is, of course they know who Kendrick Lamar is. Of course they know who Drake is. Of course they know who Eminem is. Like, he's not on their level, but I do think like he has the most potential to like really get up there. But right now it's like it's Kendrick's world and we're all just living in it, and he is considered the best rapper currently by the masses, personally. Not personally,
and a lot of people try to debate that, and you can't even have an argument of Drake being the best rapper anymore. People know that's just not true. They know that you say he's the best, but probably the best artist. He's probably a better overall artist. He's just not a better rapper than either Cole or Kendrick. It's just not. People know now that he was using ghostwriters. Yeah, I think he used them during the beef, being honest, at a point, because after he put that last one out, I was like, okay, clearly you wrote that last one because it was garbage. The other ones, like Family Matters, your ghostwriters helped you with that one. But
it was fire. Okay, people can tell it was fire. I was like, yes. Especially when the beat slipped. Oh my lord!
Oh, he went in.
I'm sorry, but that shit was amazing. I was like, hell, fucking yes, man.
Kendrick wasn't so strategic in how he cut it off with Meet the Grams. If he wasn't so strategic on how he responded, that probably could have lost him right there. If that would have just been played without him cutting it off, because he cut right into it immediately. Like an hour later, he dropped that. So, but before that, Family Matters was going in. Like, you got to give Drake his credit there, or his writers or whatever. But yeah. But all of those things said, kudos even to Drake for like not chickening out. Like,
at least he didn't drop like fucking J. Cole did.
Oh, you're right. True.
So embarrassing. I don't care what it. Listen, at the end of the day, was J. Cole right to ultimately drop out because of where it went? Yes, some may say, but at the same time, if he should have never dropped fucking 7-Minute Drill in the first place. Feelings fucking hurt, getting gassed up by his people. Pathetic. I'm understandable. I understand, but still. And then it's like, you know, he dropped that other song. I cannot remember what it's called, but basically he was addressing the beef with Drake and Kendrick, and it was just kind of like, this song is amazing. Lyrically, you sound amazing. Like, your rapping technically is amazing, but it's just kind of listening to it, I was just like, man, J. Cole, if you don't sit the fuck down, dude, like, come on. You are considered a very excellent lyrical rapper, but you can, like, because you backed out when you were battle tested, unfortunately, people are going, that stench is going to stay on you forever, basically.
It's going to be there for a long while. And that was Port Antonio you're talking about. Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, that's a tough one, because like you said, we can understand him saying, you know what, this is not my battle to fight, basically. But he would have been better just to not even jump into it to begin with, because now it's like,
I agree.
You jumped in and now you jumped out and you made you look like a coward. That's what it made it look like.
It's just like I said, he was very emotional with it. He should have never responded to like that. Honestly speaking, he should have never responded like that. But he might have some people in his camp that are not 100% on his side either. Because I would have been like, well, yeah, let's leave like that alone. Like, again, his feelings may have been hurt because he's like, oh, we're the big three, me, you, and K-Dot, and Kendrick's like, okay, no.
I was like, no, it ain't.
Like, no, it ain't. Like, you know, and which is like I said, very entertaining for me personally. But yeah, I just, like I said, J. Cole, excellent rapper. But you know, battle tested, like, you know, you're gonna have to slide yourself right on out of there, bucko. Sorry to say. So
yeah,
you should watch this video by this content creator called Deleted. I'm gonna send you the link. I don't know.
Yeah, send it to me. I'll check it out.
And
like, if Cole Hart was in it, though, I will say, he to be fair to him, he did speak on it, saying like his heart just wasn't. You could tell he wasn't in it. Like, you could tell that just wasn't. He realized it too late, and he admitted that the people around him gassed him up, and he should have just stayed out of it. But like, if I can imagine if it was a real battle between him and K-Dot, that would have been something for the ages right there, because these are actual rappers right here.
Mm-hmm.
They actually pinned their own stuff. So like that would have been crazy if his heart was there and he was in a different place than he is now. I think he's kind of on that, that free spirit kumbaya stuff. He's not thinking about battling nobody like that now. It's just not on him. It's not in his heart.
Yeah. Okay, well, I sent you a link to a video. I think you should check it out.
Okay.
And we'll see if you still feel like if it's in his heart or not. He might be a certified hater, man. I don't know. But yeah, I understand what you're saying about Kendrick does do a lot of voices, but it works for him. So Singer had to go, so okay. All right, but anyway, we can go ahead and skedaddle. What's up, Dan? Drake's lost every beef he's been in. Meek Mill even hurt his image. Well, Drake got him back with was it back to back? So
Yeah.
unfortunately, Meek did lose that battle. So
He very much lost that.
very much lost that battle. And one thing I will give Drake, even though he is a strange fella, is that at least he doesn't back down. You know what I'm saying?
Agreed.
So,
That's one thing I'll give him. He got the
yeah.
guts.
Uh, yeah, one thing he does not do is back down. He is a weird guy, though, for sure. But anyway, great show, guys. Well, me and Umbra, everyone who hung out for this entire time, thanks so much for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Umbra, great having you on, man. Really enjoyed it.
Oh, it was my pleasure. I appreciate it. I never thought about like when you had hit me up and I was like, you know what? Why haven't I never been on this? Jumped on here with my girl Luca. Like, what's up with that? So I appreciate it. I tend to want to ask more people to come and join me on mine, but then I feel like, man, am I bothering them? So I just kind of me and my co-host, we kind of do a solo dolo for that reason. Sometimes I just don't want to bother anybody because
I
everybody got
understand
things to
completely
do.
because I definitely don't ask people because I'm just like, well,
Yeah.
yeah.
But that said, I'll throw this out there as an open invitation. If ever you need
Okay.
me, you want to have a brother come through for whatever reason, let me know because I'm always here for you. And I say this because, and this is why I said at the beginning, you're one of my favorite people in the space. And I don't forget when I feel like people are good natured and they do things with integrity. And I think you are a very integrous person. Integrous person. And I'll never forget those things when I was going through some trials and tribulations back then where you were there to be a voice of reason and not jump to conclusions and judgment. And I needed that. And it really, I'm telling you, I was so close to just dipping, like getting out of this whole thing where I felt like the lies that were being told on me. I was like, okay, I'm not dealing with that. I'm just gonna get off of you. And you were there, and I had other people reaching out, of course, but like you were there to like not jump to a judgment, but to hear things out, and that meant a lot to me. So I just want to thank you for that. And as far as if you ever want a brother to jump on, do not feel for a second that you cannot ask me because I will be here whenever you call. I'll be there.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I loved having you on, man. It was great. And yeah, I truly believe at the end of the day, the best thing you can do when it comes to any situation is just wait for more information, try to figure out what the truth is. I mean, the way I feel about it, there's only three sides of the story, your side, my side, and the truth.
Yep.
And whoever can come out with the more compelling evidence that proves their side is like, okay, this makes perfect sense to me. I don't jump to conclusions. I try to figure out why someone would be doing or saying something, like what's in it for them. And I don't automatically side with people just because of certain societal reasons. You know what I'm saying? So
100%.
yeah.
100%. And I
All right.
appreciate it.
Yeah,
As
for
far
sure,
as
man.
if you guys want to find a brother, look up for Infinite Umbra on Twitter or Blue Sky or Blue Ski, as Luca called it. And Thursdays or Tuesdays, I'm on Xbox Factor with Boom and Jamie Moran. That's at 12 Eastern. On my show, The Fix, that's Thursdays at 8 o'clock Eastern, which is 7 for us. And Friday is the Infinite Podcast, myself, Risky for the Biscuit, that Blue Number, Dante Moody, and Garuda Intruder at times. And that's at 7 Eastern now? Yeah, 7 Eastern because the time moved up. Yeah. And again, thank you for having me, Luca. Thank you all in the chat too for being here holding us down.
Yeah, for sure, man. Glad you were here, especially for this Kendrick topic. Because Slow-Mo did not finish the album and the singer didn't listen to it yet. I don't know if Ramon listens to rap, actually. I never think I asked him. So, all right, cool, guys. I'll catch y'all next week. Will I? Because it's like Thanksgiving weekend? Maybe not. But yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Peace.